I refuse to co-sign my sister's mortgage because my parents went behind my back. It's always about the money, Spider-Man. I, 28 female, have been busting my butt for years to save for my own house. I work in software, so I make decent money, but it still takes forever to build up a good down payment. Meanwhile, my younger sister, 25 female, is in grad school with barely any credit. By the way, this comes from user Fancy a Panda, and you can submit your stories on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, our parents, both mid-50s, found a house near them and decided she needs it. They made an offer without telling me. And now, the deal only goes through if I co-sign. Oh, okay. Deal or no deal in this one. The problem, I had no clue they'd do this. My parents basically dropped a bomb. You have the best credit score. Co-sign so your sister can get the house, honey. They also hinted I should chip in for the down payment because you've got the money. If I co-sign, I'll be on the hook if my sister can't pay. She's still in school, has debt, and zero backup plan. The bank might also reject my future mortgage application since they'll see I'm already tied to another loan. But my parents say I'm selfish and forgetting my family values. My sister's calling me a monster for leaving her stranded, and my mom threatened to cut off any future financial help, like wedding money, if I do not help right now. Some relatives think it's insane my parents tried to rope me into this after they already made the offer. Others say I should just do it for the family's sake. I feel guilty, but also mad they put me in this spot. Am I the a-hole for protecting my own finances, or are they wrong for strong-arming me into co-signing a mortgage I never wanted it in the first place? And we have an edit. I'm actually adopted. LMAO, forgot to mention in my confused and angry state. My parents adopted me when I was very young because they'd been struggling to conceive. A few years later, they had my sister naturally, which was a huge deal to them. She was their miracle baby. Ever since, it felt like my role in the family became the older adopted one, while she was the golden child who could do no wrong. So we got favoritism now. Growing up, I was expected to pitch in more, be more responsible, and generally look after my sister. I worked my butt off in school, stacked scholarships, and eventually landed a good job in software. All the while, I felt like my family mostly saw me as the fallback option in case anyone needed financial or emotional support. Now that I'm actually building my own life, saving for a house, focusing on my career, I'm realizing how my success just makes me look like a bigger piggy bank to my parents. The more independent I become, the clearer it is that I need to separate myself from constant guilt trips and the unspoken expectation that I'll always bail them or my sister out. I love them, but I can't keep sacrificing my own future to maintain a dynamic where I'm never the priority. So thank you for the wake-up call. Update to come. And with some comments, one thing I didn't get to mention is mom threatened that will no longer financially provide for you. Great. It seems like you could provide for yourself. You're like, you know what? I can provide for myself. Thanks.
And you could use that money for my sister. How about that? Yeah, go for it.
You know what? I'm unadopted. We had some relative top comments. Why didn't OP's parents co-sign the loan? OP, they have financial strains and don't want to incur that risk and don't have the best credit either. I wonder why. Why didn't OP's parents help her with buying a house? OP, we were at odds due to another family issue. Their commenter says, so your sister is the golden child and you are not. Don't co-sign the loan. Tell your parents to give your sister the wedding money, and since your finances won't be a dumpster fire, as they would if you co-sign the loan, you'll pay for your own wedding. And we'll be sure to send them a picture since obviously they won't be there. Tell them how much you appreciate them freeing you from having to care for them as they age, since that this will fall 100% on your sister. Not the a-hole, but your family is really toxic. OP says, probably something I should have said. I was blinded by my confusion and forgot to mention. I was adopted, not as a baby, but around the age of 6. Was always different and never bothered to reconnect with my bio mom. I knew I was an outsider, but as I get older and somewhat overshadowed by my younger sister with my successful career, I think I created resentment between my parents and myself. So I think it's hitting a breaking point and it's really showing. We have a commenter too. Absolutely do not co-sign. Not the a-hole if you refuse. Let your mom not pay for the wedding. If she's threatening now, she will again. In the end, she probably won't. But that's not the main reason not to co-sign. The main reason is there is a huge chance you'll be in debt for a house that is not even yours. Smart. And commenter number 3, terrible idea. Why does she need a house right now if she has barely any credit? And she's in mid-grad school. An apartment sounds like what she needs. Another commenter says, lock down your credit score and make sure they can't use your information anyway. My sister had hers trashed by an ex because he would take out the loans in her name. I have seen parents do this as well, regardless of the child's age or consent. And now we have an update. Do not co-sign.
Yeah, everyone in the world saying don't do it.
The internet's telling you don't do it. The internet's always right. The internet never loses. Update. Okay, so here's where I'm at. I'm absolutely not co-signing my sister's mortgage. And I'm definitely not pitching in for any down payment. This whole thing was the final push I needed to realize how messed up our family dynamic has been for ages. I mean, I've always known it was bad, but having them basically try to volunteer me and my finances without even asking just crossed a line I cannot ignore anymore. I'm done. I've decided to cut ties. I'm already in the process of dropping any financial entanglements we might have, cutting off shared accounts, making sure they can't use my information for anything, and basically scrubbing them from my finances. My job lets me work remotely, so I'm planning to move out of the state soon. That was always in the back of my mind, but now it feels urgent. I need space, distance, and a real shot at a normal life without the constant guilt trips. I'm also locking down my credit, freezing it, changing passwords, everything. I'm not taking any chances that someone might try to open a line of credit in my name. I've seen enough horror stories, and I'm not about to become one. Thankfully, I'm not alone in all of this. My close friends have been incredible. They're basically my real family at this point, helping me pack, offering me a place to stay if I need it, reminding me that I'm not crazy for wanting to protect my future. They've been the biggest source of support, and I'm honestly so grateful to have them in my corner. So yeah, that's it. I'm not signing. I'm leaving.
Let's go.
I'm done. If my family wants to blow up at me for abandoning them, so be it. I've got to look out for myself, my credit, and my sanity. Here's to hoping things only get better from here.
Thank goodness.
You made this situation so easy for yourself. Everyone who commented their 2 cents are amazing people, and I thank you all for your support while I'm dealing with this. Truly, thank you. OP clarifies the timeline on when she was adopted into the family. Honestly, it was not as dramatic as it sounds. We're 3 years apart in age. I'm older. But my adoption was finalized around the time my sister was a toddler age. The process itself had started earlier, and it wasn't all done in a day. My parents had me placed with them before it was legally official. By the time the paperwork went through, when I was 6, she was already 3. It's just a messy timeline that happens when adoption, fertility struggles, etc. I forget all the details sometimes. My apologies. And on to update 2.
Oh boy. Dude, something that just popped into my head. Do you think his parents financially manipulate OP because they may have like her social security number?
That's why I think she's freezing everything. She's doing the right thing because she knows like they do have a chance. That's why she's like, nope, freezing everything until I'm out, which is very smart. Update number 2. Discovered a credit card in my name. Okay, so I was really hoping the update post would be the last one, but here we are. I didn't expect it to turn into a bigger mess. After deciding not to co-sign the mortgage for my sister, I started taking extra precautions with my finances, locking down my credit, pulling my full credit reports, like you all suggested. I wanted to be absolutely sure no one could use my information without me knowing. That's when I stumbled on an active credit card I didn't open. Some of you guys warned me. I guess I wasn't fast enough to lock down. It's been around for a couple years now. It was being used, but I'm assuming my parents wanted to keep it from me with the intention of using it as leverage. As of yesterday, the statements show purchases that look a lot like household expenses. You're not buying a house. I wonder who in your family's buying a house. The billing address on file points right back to my parents' home. I confronted them via text because I'm currently a couple hours away with a close friend. They claimed I benefited from these expenses, which doesn't make much sense because they never helped me with setting up my own apartment. Also, it explains why they assumed I'd be okay with co-signing. Turns out they've been using my credit for a while. Oh yeah, because remember, their credit's not that great. You know whose credit's really good? Yours, OP. Needless to say, I feel completely betrayed. This wasn't some tiny oversight. My parents have been quietly using my name to fund their expenses. Now I'm talking to a professional to figure out whether I should dispute the charges or close the account outright. without tanking my own credit in the process. Yes, smart. It's nerve-wracking realizing how they went behind my back even before this mortgage BS. At this point, I'm even more determined to move out of the state to get distance from all of this. My job is thankfully remote friendly, so relocating won't wreck my career. My friends have been amazing, offering support, so I don't completely lose my mind. If it weren't for them, I'd be a mess right now. And there's no real good segue, but by the way, you can listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and just search OK Storytime. We have another relevant update and gotta finish the story, but Riley, anything else to add?
Dude, this is scary. I can't even imagine my parents doing this to me.
The parents were like, we adopted her because she's gonna be very, very successful and we're gonna use that as leverage. We did a bad job, but we'll use her to be a good job. I'm not trying to be vindictive or overdramatic. I just need to protect myself. The trust is gone, and I don't see how I can maintain a healthy relationship with people who thought this was okay. I would also bring this up to your sister, like, hey, because guess what? If they can do this to me, they're probably gonna do it to you, if you're successful. It's sad, and I wish it didn't come to this, but I've got to prioritize my own future. I'll let you know if anything else major happens, but for now, I'm focused on fully separating my finances from my family, getting ready to move, and making sure I don't pay the price, credit-wise, for something I never agreed to. It's scary, but I'm hoping it'll be worth it to finally have a life and a credit score of my own. And we have some relevant comments. Commenter 1. Well, if they open credit in your name, that is considered identity theft. You should file a police report. Let the chips fall where they may. And that looks like a couple comments also state police reports.
Oh my gosh.
Wow, that's gross. Yeah, get away from your family. You don't need them. You were very smart. You did your best and they still got you, but
You live on.
you're going to be fine. But that's the end of that story.
My parents demand financial support for their vehicle, and they guilt-tripped me when I refused.
Why don't you guilt trip them right back?
First of all, I'm sorry for the mess. I'm very emotional right now. Well, it's okay. I'm 28, female, immigrated to Canada at 11 with my parents. Back home, my parents were very comfortable, and once they moved to Canada, we were middle class. And I'll admit, while I wasn't spoiled, I never missed anything growing up. By the way, this comes from user Tall Memory 7513, and you can submit your stories to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, I'll spare the details, but my relationship with my parents wasn't the best growing up. While they never hit me, they were emotionally abusive. My mom was mean and my dad was emotionally unavailable and always wrapped up in his own world. I was very ambitious from a young age. When I turned 16, I got myself not only one, but two jobs. Working 80 hours during the summers until I turned 20 and moved out for college. I was financially illiterate and irresponsible. So honestly, I spent all my money, but I paid for everything myself, except I lived there for free. I had free food and free public school education and free medical expenses. At 22, I got admitted into law school. My parents never directly said to me that they were proud, but never missed an opportunity to brag. When I asked them for a laptop for college, my dad sat me down and registered me for a student loan and told me, welcome to the real world. You're now on your own, kid. When my sister got into college this year, he bought her a laptop. Whenever I mentioned needing money during college, he told me to use the student loan money. During the first 2 years of college, my mom gave me a monthly allowance of $400, so I was grateful for that. Later, I discovered that she took my tax credit for the tuition I took a loan out for. When I confronted them, they told me I was selfish and ungrateful. I missed over $7,000 worth of tax return, so they pretty much paid what she gave me. I told them that I was going to do my taxes alone the year after, so she cut me off. Fast forward 3 years later, I graduated from law school and also did a master's degree, but I was in $140,000 in student loan debt. I'll admit, college tuition is not that expensive in Canada, and part of it was because I was irresponsible with money. What do you mean? Wait a minute. What does that mean? That's not, you can't just be like, I had $140,000 in student loan debt, but actually, I bought a car for $100,000. So really,
Yeah.
like, what is that?
Because as Honeybee says, don't they have free medical help and school in Canada? I'm assuming that OP's probably paying for some sort of private healthcare.
Yeah, they do have private
Yeah,
options
they have.
out there.
Yeah, you have the option there, and then maybe if they're going to like law school, probably more expensive.
I just love
But also, yeah, kind of crazy that they.
the ambiguousness of that comment. I mean, most of it was because
Most of it
I
was
was
pretty cheap,
financially
but it was
irresponsible.
really
It's like,
bad.
you don't just randomly rack up $140,000 of debt.
Gotta be real bad.
Like,
with the money.
what?
Well,
That's-
it's just like using their card. They're like, oh yeah, just put in my credit card.
I like how they're like, I'm not spoiled, but also
I
I
have
can
no
kind
idea
of
how to use money.
accidentally rack up 6 figures of debt.
Yeah, that's kind of
You're
insane.
spoiled as flippity doodah.
True.
So I got my first job at a good law firm, and my salary was $130,000 a year. I was stupid and told my parents how much I made. So for them, I was rich, and it was the time to collect their return on their investment. Little did they know I have $1,700 a month in student loan repayment. I live on my own, and expenses do rack up. I also had some mental health issues, so I had to take 3 months off of work. I don't blame my parents for my financial mistakes, but I racked up $10,000 in credit card debt on top of my student loans. I was trying to live like my friends who made the same salary, but they didn't have loans, and that was a mistake. So I decided to be very strict on my budget to pay off the debts as soon as possible. Since I have little self-control, I don't keep much in savings. I just pay off as much as I can. My parents always make comments on how frugal I became and how I never spend money on them. So on 2 different occasions, we went to the restaurant with my brother and sister, and they gave the whole bill to me. The first time I paid it, and the second time I refused. I visit them less and less now, but every time they make comments on how rich I am and how I never spend money on them, that is weird.
It is weird. Why are they asking you? I don't understand. Because I thought they were rich.
I mean,
I feel like they lost all their money.
I think they when they moved to Canada, they weren't making as much as they made
That must be it.
previously.
Yeah.
But like,
To the point where they have to like beg OP for money.
well, I don't know. I don't know. So we're going to keep going. They would always make comments on how rich I am and how I never spend money on them. Keep in mind, I got my mom a phone. I gave my dad $300 on his birthday. Same for my mom. And years ago, when I was still in college, I was parking my aunt's car and I bumped his car. I swear it was just a tiny little bump on the door. So he asked me to give him $1,000 for the repair.
Ooh.
I told him I was broke, so he had told me that I'll have to pay for it when I graduate. Low key, this sounds like you're being financially like abused or manipulated.
Yeah,
here.
he
Like,
probably like, I don't know, put the car there. He like drove the car behind you and he's like, you ran into my car.
$1,000 for a little ding
There's
is
trickery going on.
exploitive,
Yeah.
for real.
You could buff that out.
Honestly, they sell tools for like $5 that you could probably pull that dent right out of the metal. This week, they decided to buy an Audi and needed to sell their old car. So my dad asked me to give him the $1,000. He never repaired it and he wasn't planning, but he told me that he would have to lower the price $1,000 when negotiating because he's selling it on Facebook Market. Therefore, I'll have to give him the money. Since I use all my money to pay back as much debt as possible, the holidays were pricey, so I literally have only $500 in my account. So I tried to explain to them for the first time that I'm actually broke and can't pay for it. They were mad at me and told me again that a lot of people my age were financially supporting their parents.
I can tell you that ain't true.
Chad, is that a lie, chat?
I can
Chat.
tell you that ain't true.
Chad, are we being lied to? OP continues, this is when I lost it. I started crying and told them that most of my friends didn't have to pay a penny for their education, and all they asked for is for them to not guilt trip me for not financially supporting them. They told me that my friends' parents were rich, and once again, I'm an ungrateful brat. They are far from broke. They just bought a bigger house in Canada, have 2 apartments, and a big home back home. I broke down. I took a long walk, and when I came back, I tried to explain to them calmly that their love felt conditional, since they made me feel like I had to pay them back for existing. So my dad told me that the $1,000 was just for the principal. You made a mistake, you have to pay for it. And the other comments about supporting them were just jokes.
Nah, they're trying to run it back. They're
The-
trying to run it back.
The good old fashioned,
No, you don't
I was
understand
just joking.
us. It's all jokes.
I'm
If you
just
had paid us,
kidding
we would have
around.
taken it, but it's all jokes.
Also, it's a joke? $1,000 based just on principle.
Yeah.
That's $100 right there.
That's a bad
maybe.
principle.
Maybe 200. Maybe
Mhm.
250. Maybe.
That's it. That's if we're talking
Max
maybe.
tapped out at
We're
250.
talking big dent.
Ay. He reminded me that he bought me glasses until high school. I told him it's the bare minimum since I can't actually see without them.
He's like,
He really said,
yeah,
remember all the times I didn't neglect you?
it's like, remember all the times when I helped you with your disability?
Mm-hmm.
You're welcome.
Remember, daughter, who I didn't consult with on if they wanted to exist or not? Remember when I single-handedly prevented you from being blind?
You're welcome. Pay me
Purely
back.
out of the goodness of my heart.
Yeah, and also, you should pay me now.
Mm-hmm.
Goodness of my heart, and also the promise of money in the future.
Honestly, this is what I would do if I was OP. Just really quick before we get back to the story.
Yeah.
I would immediately stop caring about these people.
Yeah.
Right? They are literally just trying to suck money out of you. And make your own itemized list of everything that you owe them.
Yeah.
Right? And once you give them that money, just be like, now never ask me for a single thing ever again. We're even.
And then cut them off.
And be done.
Or don't give them money and then just cut them off.
Yeah. I mean,
Either one.
you know. He also said that he paid for my phone during high school and that I will get a big inheritance from the real estate they have. He then added, may God never make us dependent on you. Blamed me for making a scene for $1,000. Reminded me that he sacrificed his career for us when he moved to Canada and told me that I will regret my behavior and the way I was treating them. See how bitter they get? See how spicy it gets? Once the sugar doesn't work, how spicy they get. Edit, thank you so much for everyone for your kind words. I just wanted to clarify, I don't actually financially support them, and I don't think they're living beyond their means. However, I think they were expecting to get spoiled once me and my siblings graduated in exchange for their sacrifices, and now they are salty and disappointed. If I could afford it, I would, but in this economy?
Ain't no way.
AOP's got jokes.
Got jokes.
In this economy?
I can't afford it in this economy.
Also,
OP's got debt.
Was it, huh?
I said OP's got debt.
Oh, yeah, she's got
Jokes
debt.
and debts.
Jokes, debt jokes. Also, in college, my mom randomly called me once and was complaining on how she was tired of working. She said, if you and your brother give me $1,000 a month when you graduate, I could retire. You should just start calling everyone in the yellow book and making that same deal.
It's just like, if you all give me $10,
Mm-hmm.
if 1,000 people give me $10,
Just start a group chat with a bunch of strangers.
and say, hey, can I have $10? Thank you.
Thanks.
And then you just keep going down the line.
I told her politely that it's not fair to start my professional life with such a burden since she's in her early 50s and able-bodied. She got mad and gave me the silent treatment for weeks. And by the way, you don't have to endure the silent treatment because you can listen to full episodes with stories like this whenever you want. And you can hear us go blah, 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 blah. All you have to do
long.
is go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts or any place where you consume podcasts and search OK Storytime.
Do it. You won't.
Oh, did you hear that? Did you hear her lay down the gauntlet? She just said, what'd she say?
Do it. You won't.
Oh my God. Are you going to take that? Couldn't be me. But hey, look, we've got a little bit of story left.
Let's finish her off.
Let's just go ahead and run right into it.
Let's
Huh?
run right into
Like
it.
a-
Full
like
steam
a-
ahead.
Like a brick wall.
Chugga choo choo.
We will run. Finally, my mom was complaining to my sister that she had to give a gift to her friend because her friend gave a gift to my sister on her birthday and how much she had to repay for the gift we received during our lives. What is going on here?
These bad parents. Hey, yay.
Yeah. I told her we didn't choose to be born. And she told me I didn't decide to have children. It was God's decision. Besides, I could have kicked you out at 18 and asked you to pay for groceries when you got your first job, like white people. I explained to her that maybe 1% of white people did that. Comments. I mean, honestly, I don't even think that's a race thing. It's just, it depends on,
Well,
do you need all of the money?
Yeah.
Like, where's your income at?
Exactly.
Like,
I'm wondering possibly if this is like the comments about, oh, like kids your age are caring for their parents, if that's like potentially like probably cultural.
maybe.
Yeah.
know.
Potentially.
I feel like it's almost a cultural thing that like white people completely abandon their parents. It's like it's very,
Oh no, I mean when the parents were saying, "Oh, you need to take care of like children your age are taking care of their parents" earlier in the story.
it's weird because culturally, I wonder where they came from before they came to Canada, because like pretty much everywhere else on Earth besides like America and like Western society or culture, whatever you want to call it, it's a very normal and like basically expected thing to continue to live near your family.
Yeah.
And like your parents and whatever. Like it's the nucleus stays pretty tight.
Yeah.
But in, like American society or,
Western.
North American culture, it's like if you don't get out of town, like the longer you're at home, like you're just the more of a loser you become,
Mhm.
which is like not at all looked at like that everywhere else on Earth, essentially. So
True day.
it is like maybe there's a little bit of that where it's like, oh, I thought we were going to stay tight or whatever, and it seems like you're just trying to go do your
I
own
thought we were
thing.
gonna be tight.
I thought we were gonna be cool when we moved to
Yeah.
Canada, and now you're just like you got all these gross Canadian ideals.
What are you doing with those Canadian ideals?
Anyway, let's finish it off. Comments number 1, please do not give them any money. You're not the a-hole. You've been very kind and generous, but this is another example of them showing that they do not see you as someone to love, only someone to use. Anything they bought you from the day you were born to the day you turned 18 is the bare minimum. That's their job as parents. They didn't want to shell out the money. They don't have kids. You worked hard to get where you are now, and you did it without their help. I don't know. I think she got some. They don't get to demand things from you now. OP replied, thank you so much for your kind words. When I told my mom during the argument that I didn't ask to be born, she called me ungrateful and told me that she could have kicked me out as soon as I turned 18 and could have given me the bare minimum to survive during my childhood like some parents do.
Wow, well, that's the end of that story.
If you want more stories like this, search for our podcast, OK Storytime, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
My parents spoiled my little brother. Now I'm laughing at the consequences.
All right, man, Dark.
20 male. And this happened when I was 14. I have a brother that's about 6 years younger than me. And he was extra coddled by my parents for having been diagnosed with high-functioning autism when he was 4. By the way, this comes from Holden Position 4 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, other than that, he seems very normal, just unbelievably spoiled. And he is used to getting his way a lot. And by a lot, I mean nearly all the time. Anything I had, he also had to have.
What's yours is mine.
Yeah, and what's mine is yours. So that meant we had doubles of almost everything that wasn't shared items. You know, so far, regular sibling stuff. My parents gave my sister everything that I had.
It doesn't sound abnormal
It
yet.
doesn't sound abnormal.
Yeah.
And anything he had that I didn't, he'd rub in my face any way he could. When I was 11, I begged my parents for a 3DS for my 12th birthday. I got one, but then was told to lend it to my brother whenever he wanted it, or else I'd have it taken away, which it was a lot.
It sounds like the parents are not setting you up.
For success. Like, there's no boundaries here. Also, it's like if I give you this phone,
Oh, it's my phone for me
that's
that
your
I
phone
have?
for you,
Wow.
but I can take it anytime I want, and
Oh.
you have to give it to me. What I've basically just made you is a phone holder.
Yes.
I require my phone, Dakota.
Oh, okay. Then I guess I'll give it back to
Yep.
you.
But it's your phone,
Right.
but I can have it whenever I want.
And I can't.
I got one. I was told to lend it to my brother, which was a lot. When my aunt found out after seeing my parents forcibly take my 3DS out of my hands to give it to my brother on one of their visits, she let loose on them for such blatant favoritism. They returned my 3DS immediately, then blamed me for the situation after my aunt left.
That's hilarious. Being like, well, if you would have worked hard enough to buy another 3DS, this would have never happened.
Or if you maybe hid this from your aunts, then she wouldn't have reprimanded us and it would have been fine.
If you know that like the brother is always going to want whatever the other brother has, only get them gifts in sets of 2. Like that would prevent this.
But then that is more expensive. Well, they returned my 3DS immediately, but then blamed me for the situation after my aunt left. But they didn't make me give it to my brother again. Okay, so the parents learned the lesson. Instead, my parents went out a few days later and bought another 3DS as a surprise gift for my brother.
Okay. They're learning.
But it's a surprise gift. So, like, OP only gets a 3DS on his birthday, but then this little brother gets it whenever he wants.
Well, if he knows he knows how to play the game.
That is, you know,
It's
get a
time to
little
play the
autism
game.
and the world is
It's time to
your
play the
oyster.
game.
On several of mine and other people's birthdays, my brother made a huge fuss because the party wasn't all about him, even going so far as to outright state that he was upset because he wasn't getting any gifts or getting to blow out the candles on the cake. My parents learned the hard way that they couldn't enable my brother the way they'd have liked at those parties and were actually kicked out of a few for trying. And because of that, other kids at his school stopped inviting him to birthday parties altogether. For me, my birthdays were some of the only days I had that I got to have about me, because otherwise my parents forced my life to revolve around my little brother. And the year prior to when this story took place, my parents ended up paying more attention to him the entire time of my 13th birthday, and even asked me if I'd let my brother blow out my candles for me because he was upset and pouting.
He would start causing like a commotion, a ruckus, and then the parent's solution is just give him what he wants to make
Yeah.
it stop. And it's like,
That's not parenting.
and if you do that over and over and over again for years, you've now created, oh, I know that if I just get, uppity and demand something, I always get it.
But I refused that because I wanted to blow out my own candles, which is okay. It was completely okay. They called me a spoiled brat at first, until my aunt intervened and chastised them on their favoritism yet again, and stated how much she had noticed how much my brother gets nearly everything between the two of us just because he's autistic. My parents got no support from anyone else there other than my brother, who was still crying because he wasn't getting to blow out my candles.
By not addressing this too, the parents are making the OP feel like it's his fault.
Also, Jinx Angel says, W aunt. Yeah, the aunt is massively the MVP. And because he didn't get his way, he tried to outright spit on my cake out of spite. But my awesome aunt thankfully blocked him before he got the chance, then scolded him till he ran to my mom in tears. My parents took a lot of heat from the other adults here and then promised to never ask me to let my brother blow out my candles again.
That's a low bar.
That it's like the lowest bar possible.
We promise we won't have your brother blow out your birthday candles. It's like, well, the issue runs a little deeper than
But
that.
he will take all of your birthday presents still.
Yes, he will be taking everything we got
stand. Just went through the motions for the rest of the party. My aunt pretty much took over coordinating everything from that point. And the following year, a couple of weeks before my birthday, my parents sat me down and told me they were still going to get me some gifts and a small cake, but my birthday party was effectively canceled to avoid my brother having another meltdown. Yeah, Reed never split the difference in particular.
Split the difference.
I told them I couldn't believe they were doing this to me, and they just seemed to shrug it off without a care. So at school over the next week, I told my friends, my teachers, and even my school counselor, all of them were appalled by my parents' lack of consideration or empathy. The vice principal even found out and consoled me, and all of this got back to my parents through social media. My parents ended up grounding and gaslighting me for telling so many people. But that didn't stop me from still telling everyone at school that I was grounded for just being upset my birthday was canceled for no good reason. I guess that made it a lot worse because several of my parents' own friends, along with parents to other kids in my school, called them up or sent them Facebook messages basically saying, "What the heck is wrong with you?" And suddenly, I was ungrounded. OP is now learning their own covert ways. If you mess with my birthday, I will tell the whole school, and they will come with their pitchforks at your Facebook DMs.
Just a little social engineering.
I didn't get an apology either. My dad just walked into my room with his arms crossed, told me my grounding was over early, and then walked out. That was it. I thought my party was still canceled because nobody said anything about it. And my brother thought it was hilarious and rubbed it in my face that I wasn't going to get to celebrate. But by the end of the 2 weeks, my parents held a surprise party for me at my favorite restaurant. That's a good one.
That is great.
That's good.
That is a good compromise. However, I do think that the reveling in your lack of birthday celebration needs to be reported to the authorities. Your brother being like, hey, your birthday doesn't exist anymore. Like,
But by the end of the 2 weeks, held a surprise party for me at my favorite restaurant and then started claiming that was their intent all along. I knew it wasn't. From what I'd seen, everyone was incredibly unhappy with them for what they did, and it showed with any interactions family member had with my parents. So like the whole town is going against them.
yeah, as they should.
So they ended up doing the surprise party to try and save that little of their reputations
Yeah, it's censoring that because it's a bad word in Spanish.
through the nose that day just to accommodate me. I got dinner with all my friends at my favorite restaurant and that had a small arcade and even got a PS4 game system I'd been jonesing for at the time. Who says jonesing? I could tell it was all pretty much planned and bought last minute because my dad had a look about him that my aunt comically described as looking like a moth had flown out of his wallet. My brother, of course, made a huge fuss that I got that surprise party, but with so many of my friends and their parents there, my mom and dad finally put their feet down on my brother to stop his tantrum when he wanted to push my cake off the table. My brother ended up getting a timeout from the first time since he was a toddler, and my mom had to stay with him to make sure he didn't do anything crazy. And he did try several times to run the cake or stack of presents. Who knows what he would have done were it not for the fact at least one adult was always on guard. Even my dad stood guard to keep him away. My mom ended up having to remove my brother and herself from the party entirely and took my little bro to McDonald's nearby so he could have fun in their play area. And I heard later she spent at least an hour trying to get him to come out of the play place tube structure, and he only did so because he had to use the bathroom. Then tried to run right back in again. My parents never tried to cancel my birthday again while I lived with them, though they never again tried as hard or spent as much. For the remaining 4 years I was under their roof, my birthday parties consisted of a local pizza parlor, a cake without even my name written on it, and never again anything as expensive as a new gaming system. I don't mean to sound spoiled, but I was a bit disappointed I never got a cake with my name on it again. My aunt called my parents out on that each year, and each year they claimed they forgot to get the cake decorated. I'm pretty sure that the reason my name was never written on another cake was because my brother always refused to eat pieces of cake that had a writing of someone else's name on it at a party. And they couldn't put his name on any of my cakes, or it would have looked very bad for them. But the fact that I still got a day that was just about me at all was not my brother, and not my brother was still fantastic in my book, especially because just about everything else revolved around him.
Cannot believe how fully the parents have enabled every bad behavior.
Eventually, because just about everything else evolved around him. During each of my remaining birthday parties, my brother still made a fuss, and my mom took him somewhere else to calm him down. I was still required to share my PS4 with my brother, but it was still mine. And I took it with me when I moved out at 18, the PS4. Little bro did not like that and had a huge fit till my parents went out and bought another PS4 for him. By the way, you can listen and get a little present from us every day by listening to full episodes of this podcast on the podcast platform, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. You know what's great about that, Dakota?
It's that all you got to search is OK Storytime. That's why it's so great.
OP says, when I moved out, they finally had to deal with how they raised my brother so spoiled because I wasn't there to help them with him anymore. On his recent 14th birthday, he went mental on our parents for not getting him a PS5. He is now currently grounded for I don't know how long after causing hundreds or maybe even thousands in collateral damage during his rampage.
God.
He picked up a chair and just started destroying anything that was in front of him with it. And my parents just looked mentally checked out when I saw them last. My aunt has also told me they confided in her that they wish they could send my brother to military or boarding school in the future because they can't handle the monster they've created anymore. But there's no way they can afford that. I'd be lying if I said I didn't find it ironically funny. And that is where that story ends. That's crazy because, you know, you think you're like creating this cute little kid that just gets what they want.
Did
and
they
they're
think
like,
that?
I don't know. I
No,
feel
they
like
thought they would like you know what they were doing? They were just like, we're not gonna deal with any problems. We'll just keep swiping it under the rug. If we just keep him happy, that's it. And when it's filled up under the rug and it's piling out, and now look what you've made. You made a mess.
I'm taking my adopted daughter overseas no matter how hard my sister and parents object.
Is that an abduction?
Maybe. Let's find out.
All right, let's see.
My younger sister went through a pretty rough time as a young adult, drinking and doing substances and generally being wild. She ended up getting pregnant and giving birth at age 18 when I was just a few weeks away from turning 21. She did not want the child after giving birth, and she refused to even pick up the child and would leave her sitting in dirty nappies. Ugh. By the way, this comes from user lollipoptrash04 on the r/OK Storytime subreddit. Despite never wanting children myself either, I stepped in and adopted my newborn niece as my daughter. My then boyfriend, who I'd been with for 3 years, gave me an ultimatum, him or her, as he didn't want children either. I picked her, and he left me, which resulted in me suddenly being a single mother. The first few years were rough as a single parent, barely making ends meet, but I managed, and my sister had nothing to do with us. I never once hid the truth from my daughter that she was adopted, but always assured her I loved her so much and was her mommy. When my daughter was 6, my sister was finally clean and wanted to have access to her. I allowed it, but stressed she would just be an aunt to her, and she accepted this, though it's clear she struggled with the concept and sometimes acted more like a mother.
I mean, that would be really hard to put up a line suddenly, or not suddenly, but like to know that you're the mother and not act like a mother would be hard.
It's a hard thing to be like, you lost mom permissions. It's like, but I'm still the mom. If she's actively taking steps to better herself, I don't see why she shouldn't be able to.
But I do think you need to tell the truth about the situation at some point. But
well, no, they already know. The kid knows. The child is aware that they are adopted. Let's continue. I don't think we've gotten enough information to know that for certain yet. Now, my daughter is 8, and I've been offered a job in a different country. The pay is almost double my current salary, and the company is helping us find a home, putting my daughter in an international school and after-school care. So of course I'm going to take it, but this resulted in my family having a meltdown about how I can't do this and how it's cruel to take my daughter away from her family and how it's not fair to my sister. My sister has told me that she won't allow me to move away with her and that she'll fight in court to get my daughter back. I've talked to lawyers and it seems that she doesn't have a leg to stand on as my daughter is legally my daughter, but the rest of my family is telling me I'm being extremely cruel and if I cared about my sister, I'd turn this job down. So really quick, I just would say from my perspective, the only people whose opinions truly matter here are the kids and OPs. OP's taking this job to better her kid's life. It's not easy to travel internationally, but at the same time, it's not impossible. I left home at 16 and finished my education. My sister, meanwhile, is the golden child who gets away with everything. She even now lives with our parents and doesn't work. My daughter, while sad to be leaving her school and friends, is excited for the move. I've been teaching her about the country every night before bed, and we've gone to some authentic restaurants to try the food from there. I've also promised her we'll fly back at least once a year to visit, and she can FaceTime and call her friends whenever she wants. I feel like my family are angling for me to eventually just hand my daughter back over as if I was just a temporary filler for my sister, which will obviously never happen. And my lawyers are involved in this matter. Yeah, the absolute disrespect to be like, oh yeah, you're just the filler arc. You're just the filler parent. No, that's my daughter now. It's my daughter you're talking about. We got some comments. Comment number 1, you stepped up when none of the family did. I assume they all knew your sister was neglecting her daughter and did nothing to help the baby or help you support her after adoption. They don't deserve anything, especially now. It was best for you and your daughter. The sister has 0 legal rights, and really none of the family has a right to say anything. Yeah, exactly. Except for the kid. If your daughter's going to be upset about it, then which doesn't seem like the case. OP replies, the rest of the family were going to let her be given up to strangers for adoption when the sister was deciding to give her up. They basically only saw her a few times a year pre-pandemic. And this is very much the golden child wanting to waltz back in and take her back and is being supported by our parents. I love my sister, but she is spoiled and entitled. Comment 2. Look out for yours and your daughter's future. Move away from your toxic family and go no contact. Your sister lost any rights to be considered a mother. She's selfish. Your sister and your parents can go F themselves. Don't tell them when you'll be moving. Something tells me they'll try to kidnap her. Congrats on the new job. Comment 3. Dang, you are a bad booty in every sense of the word. You took on a huge responsibility, which frankly shouldn't have been yours at only 21. Obviously, you love and support your child and have the emotional intelligence to consistently put your child's needs first. For example, limiting contact with problematic aunts, being honest about adoption, and familiarizing your child with the new cuisine and culture of your home country. Then you're rocking your career so much that you double your salary. Employers don't typically provide those types of relocation services for average people, so just another example that you're probably destroying it at work. You also did all of this as a single mother. Just wow. You make great decisions. Don't question this one. Have a wonderful life in your new country with your great new job and lovely child. OP replied, I'm being asked to head the company's offices in this country. I'm leaving the name out of the country for privacy reasons, but it is in Asia. I think it's why they're trying to sweeten the deal so much. Thank you so much. You're very kind, and it means a lot to me. And we have an update. Guys, how are we feeling about the quiet version of me? Do we want the old version
You're
back?
just a chill guy.
I'm just a chill guy. I'm just a chill guy with a tummy ache.
Okay, you're kind of creeping me out with how like low tone and like low energy you are.
So, I got a call from the school today that a woman not on the list had come around and tried to pick up my daughter, claiming she was the mother. She had claimed there was a family emergency and she needed to take my daughter home early. Now, only myself and my best friend are marked down as able to pick up my daughter. And when they wanted to see this woman's ID, she got cagey and claimed she forgot it. And when they told her she couldn't pick her up without an ID, she shouted at them before storming off. I've spent all day on the phone with my lawyers and my boss. My schedule's being moved ahead, and I'd wanted to give my daughter a final Christmas in our current home, but now it's clear that that is not a safe idea anymore. Our move has been brought forward, and my company is putting us up in a hotel until they help us find a home. What a W company for actually being like, oh yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, no. There is some good in the world.
Comment number 1. I hope you and your daughter move overseas ASAP to finally cut that POS side of the family out of your lives. Especially since they all completely ignored that your sister cut all parental rights to your daughter, so she has no say where you and your daughter live at. OP's response, I'm not saying when we're leaving, but it will be soon. I wanted to get the police involved with this attempt today, but my lawyers talked me down and told me to just leave ASAP as I have the option open to me. As if I get tied up in this, it could stop me leaving. I then phoned up my boss and explained the situation, and they were happy to bring things forward. Comment number 2. Your company sounds like they're really stepping up to help and support you however they can during all of this, which is awesome to see. I hope all this works out for you guys, and this move brings a lot of happiness into your lives. OP's response, I've worked for them for a long time. They're honestly incredible. Oh, so it's not a new company. I guess I missed that. So she's already working for that company, and they're bringing her over to the main offices, I suppose. The people here have been amazing, and they've gone above and beyond for us, as we're currently the only family with a child here. They even gave us a Christmas tree, which we spent last night putting up. It would seem my attempts to introduce my daughter to Korean cuisine has had an unexpected side effect. Her favorite food is now fish fingers with kimchi. I guess this is the life of a mom raising their kid in a different culture. It's revolting. Please send help. Now, many of you may be wondering about my family and more specifically my sister. Well, just because my lawyers talked me out of making a police report doesn't mean we did nothing. They gathered reports from the school and CCTV footage, and then I invited my parents for a meeting at my lawyer's office, where all the evidence was laid down. They had no idea, and my mother broke down crying. I made it clear our connections were firmly cut, and when my daughter is an adult and wants to get in contact, we will reconsider. But for now, for our safety, we will be going no contact. But what is cool, by the way,
tell me
is
what's
the
cool.
fact that you can listen to full episodes
Full.
with stories like this.
Uncut.
All you have to do is go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime.
Raw episodes directly in your ear.
I kept the dates of our flights a secret, and my best friend has my keys and is closing up the house for me and going to ship me the heavier items when we are properly settled. My first action on entering the country was to contact the local authorities with the proof that my daughter was my daughter in case my family tried to pull any BS, and the people here are also aware of my situation and no one can find anything about us without a password.
You know, that actually brings up the idea that the truth would be a good idea to say to the child, because if the child knows that there's this mom that is their biological mother that's like trying to abduct her, then
I don't know, that might be too heavy to put on. How would you age appropriately be like, so your biological mom is trying to steal you?
or little Daisy, Mrs. Lady. You know how we love your aunt.
No. First rule of improv, always say no.
Throw him off the rails.
I honestly feel like a weight has been lifted from my shoulders, and this is the start of a whole new life for us. Wishing you all a Merry Christmas and a happy 2022. Comments. Comment number 1, oh my God, I have been waiting for this update, and it went exactly the way I hoped it would. I am so happy for you. You and your daughter have a wonderful Christmas and New Year's in your new home. Congrats. Comment number 2, enjoy your new job and new apartment. South Korea is a very prosperous country, and you, as a very energetic person, will fit right in among the Koreans. That's a weird way to put that, I think.
Nope, just stop. I'm helping you. Shh. Shh. I'm helping you.
Do not worry. Your family will find you, your family will not find you, nor have the money to pursue you any further. And that is the end of that story.
Wait. Your family will not find you and won't have the money to pursue you?
Yeah, because it's like they left town without telling anybody. I'm emotionally distancing myself from my mother because of a video game stranger. I, 21 female and eldest sibling, have always been a mama's girl. Even when I tried to trick myself into thinking I was a daddy's girl with a dad who I didn't personally know and was barely present, I grew up knowing it was a naive and childish way of thinking. But back then, I was actually an open-hearted and energy-giving child who didn't know about all the bullcrap that my father was doing until I was a late teen. By the way, this comes from user puzzleheadedhome4927, and you can submit your stories on the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, to shorten this, let's just say I don't like my biological father for moralistic reasons and because physically he has made me uncomfortable quite a couple times while living with him. I, like many other people my age, had to move back in with my mom and stepdad after 4 of the absolute worst years of my life. My mother wasn't the best back then, and she has taken responsibility for the traumas that she inflicted upon me, which, to be honest, are still pretty hard to get rid of. I thought that maybe when I moved back after leaving my job and us sharing our grief over our lost loved ones who were gone on the same day, hours apart from each other that year, well, things didn't exactly go as planned. My mom has a habit of doing things for people that she thinks they can't do themselves, like my brother cleaning his room or me with applying to jobs for me without telling me. She also has a habit of rushing things when she's excited. So here is the problem. 2 months before I decided it was time to go home and separate from my girlfriend of 2.5 years due to being in an environment too toxic for my age, my mother introduced me to a girl. Wait, it gets better. A girl she met on Roblox.
Okay, I have so many immediate questions. 1, why is she on Roblox? 2, how did she meet this girl? 3, how did she know how old this girl was? 4, how did she get this girl's information from Roblox?
So, I am bi, and my only intent was to be friends with the girl at first, only planning to be friends, but then my mom started shoving in innuendos and telling her some of the things this girl said about me after she showed her pictures of me. I didn't know any of this until a whole year after she showed it to her. I'm going to call this girl Christina after one of my previous toxic exes. Anyway, my mom tells me Christina had just gotten out of a toxic relationship that my mother was mentoring her through. I accepted this and asked for the girl's number so we could contact each other. Mom gives me the number and she's all excited, saying that our names sound alike, and if we got married, it could be a cute ship name. Marriage. I hadn't even seen what the girl looked like yet. Mom's talking about marriage. I hadn't even seen what this girl looked like yet. About a week after talking, we started feeling each other out, but she confessed first, and then I confirm. Mom ends up calling me at work the next day, panicking and saying that she couldn't get sleep the night before because she thought I hadn't ended things with my ex yet. At the time, I had already ended things and was even sleeping in a different room while living with her at the time. I had a set deadline for when I was going to leave work so I could financially be set until I could find another. Mom continued to rush me, saying I could just quit or make my manager do a transfer. Mind you, we live in an area where there are not a lot of jobs available. I ended up reassuring her that I could handle everything and that it would be okay. I'm an adult. I know how to be one. Yeah, I'm an adult. I have a girlfriend on Roblox, as clearly I'm a fully grown adult.
Yeah. Where else do you get your girlfriends from?
Then she said that she felt like introducing us was something she was going to regret. I told her I was willing to show her that she was wrong.
No,
Is this
funny.
reverse psychology?
Yeah.
I feel like she's reverse psychologying.
The mom was
Okay.
like, I found you this great person. Opie was like, stop. Like, this is weird. And she's like, okay, fine. I'll like talk to her. And then she's like, oh, I actually really like her. The mom's like, no, I take it back.
To make a long story short, me and Christina ended up dating, but we had a bunch of toxicity due to our depression and grieving. And though I tried to work it out with her, my mom and dad still preferred that we weren't together. I spared my feelings for them and became friends with her. She agreed. Okay, so now they've gone into the friend zone. She was like, yeah, we're a little too depressed and too grief-stricken to work. Throughout the friendship, it was dry. There was absolutely no chemistry in our conversations besides the occasional flirting. At the time, Mom thought we were still together because of how often we talked. She thought we weren't listening to her, but I literally had no other friends besides Christina. Christina ends up calling me one night and asking me if we're friends. I respond with an avid yes. I also told her that I don't like having options when it comes to falling in love, and that I only had my eye on one person at the moment, her. After revealing the truth, that same day, a guy ended up asking me for my number at work, and I rejected him for her. I told her that if I had to wait for her, I would. On the call, she then proceeded to tell me that I didn't have to wait, and that if I fell in love with someone, I shouldn't stall it for her. She also proceeds to confess to me, because she had a habit of keeping things from me until I found out, that she had spoken with her toxic ex and that they had said that they missed the moments they had together. Mind you, I already set boundaries at that time, specifically stating that if I couldn't speak to my ex, she couldn't speak to hers. So no speaking to exes, especially not after what the ex was doing to her. I said okay to that. Next day I go to work and the same guy comes back and asked me out on a date once more. This time I say yes and immediately told Christina and my mom about it, and then immediately regretted it. Not only did Christina get pissed, but she went and told my mom I'm weird as F for saying yes. The last thing she texted me was to enjoy my date. And I said, I will. And I hope she enjoyed reminiscing with her ex. I blocked her that night, and my mom came for her and verbally defended me.
The mom's kind of coming through.
Emotionally, though, not so much. Next morning, I end up getting cussed out by her because I, quote, severed their 1-year relationship, and that she, quote, told me so because of a relationship she started. So the mom is now mad because she's like, you're messing up my Roblox friendships. She also took full responsibility for starting the relationship. She said she didn't want to hear my side of the story or hear an apology, so I didn't apologize. I went back in my room that day and didn't come out. At first, the reason was to let my mom cool down, but then the next day, I heard my mom on Roblox again with Christina. It was like they had suddenly made up like nothing happened. Earlier this morning, after my younger siblings went to school, she was talking with her on the phone and laughing with Christina all morning before taking me to work in silence. Wow. Mom is low-key like best buddies.
Mom is in love with Christina, and that's why she's trying to sabotage her daughter's relationship. Because at first she was like, oh, I just want to be friends with Christina. I'll let my daughter date her. And then she was like, wait, this whole time I've been in love with Christina.
Yeah, that's why she was like, oh, I regret this because now I can't confess my love. She did not even say bye or I love you back to me before I left the car yesterday. And today, I didn't bother saying it before shutting the door. Mom didn't even seem to mind much. She's not sitting on the couch in the living room when I come home from work anymore. She goes straight to bed along with my younger siblings, like she doesn't even want to look at me. All my life, I've been sacrificing my emotions for this woman and letting her dictate my decisions, only for her to tell me that I'm too grown to be asking her what to do. I was a very sheltered child, and my parents wouldn't let me get my driver's permit when I was 16 and prepared. Yet my first younger brother isn't even 16, and they let him get his. Now I'm a stunted 21-year-old who doesn't drive and is becoming an adult in literally one of the worst time periods in history. I ultimately decided to emotionally detach myself from my mom. I only talk to her for basic needs. I don't tell her anything about my social life anymore, only ask the questions that need to be asked. I have come to terms with the fact that my mother will never understand me emotionally, nor would she ever want to. I've accepted that the only real person that can keep my sanity together is myself. My emotions used to fluctuate based off my mother's. How much time I spent in the living room all depended on whether or not I could read her mind well enough to see if something was going on with her. All of this emotional and mental pressure from being around her, and I still forgave her after everything she's done to me. And she chose to side with a wench she met on Roblox that lives states away, and she only knew for 1 year over her own daughter, who has been pining for her unavailable love and attention and affection since she became conscious. And wow.
You know what I'm conscious of?
You know what I'm pining for y'all to do?
Better.
I'm pining for y'all to listen to full episodes with stories like this on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or any platform where you consume podcasts. All you got to do is search OK Storytime and you've got the whole backlog. You've got everything in the palm of your hand. There it is.
Man, I got two thoughts.
Hit me with them.
One, OP says worst time in history for someone to grow up in. That's, you know what? That's not entirely true.
Arguably not a fact.
Arguably not true. You could be a 21-year-old woman in like the 1800s or the 1900s or even 20 years ago. My second thought is this mom has bonded emotionally too much with this Roblox girl, Christina. Like, there's something weird going on there. Even if it's not romantic, it's just like she is prioritizing Christina over her own daughter, and it's strange.
Yeah, that cues you in on the hazards, the potential dangers of role-playing in Roblox. You might role-play so well that you actually forget who your real daughter is, and you start prioritizing strangers on the internet over your own family.
Yeah.
So watch out.
But there's a little bit left.
We're going to finish this story right now. So after that enlightenment, I felt the pain, the longing, and the disappointment. I slept it off, let it pass, and was left numb. My face falls when I feel her presence. I don't give her my energy or any personality when I speak anymore. I don't even look at her when I come out of the room. Right now I'm working, making bread to beat the Gen Z laziness allegations, and I'm not worried about anything else. I will no longer sacrifice my happiness just because of the way others feel. I've been a people pleaser my whole life thanks to a certain someone, and I'm just now figuring out how to work myself out of it. And I went on that date with the guy. I had an amazing night. I can definitely say it feels good to be selfish for once as the eldest sibling in the family. So give it to me straight. Am I the a-hole? Yeah, I think so. I think when you really think about the delicate dynamics, oh, I'm your daughter, pay attention to me. It's like, first of all,
get over
take
yourself.
A breath, all right? Relax, all right? Grow, okay? Do a little growth. Maybe if you were better at Roblox, okay, I'd be paying a little more attention to you and you'd actually be involved, but you can't keep character for more than 5 seconds. Okay, daughter?
You keep saying, oh, I don't have enough Robux.
No, okay, clearly you're not the a-hole, and that was just a joke.
Your mom's weird.
Yeah, but I'm glad her weirdness has now started your growth and enlightenment arc. I would hope you've moved on. My ex-wife wants to adopt our son along with her new wife. I'm standing firm with a no.
This isn't a 2-for-1 deal here.
I, 35 male, was married to my ex-wife, 34 female, for 7 years. 2 years ago, my ex-wife came out as a lesbian. This came out as a complete shock to me. She and her partner were coworkers who had an affair since she joined the company a year before our divorce. We have a son together, 8 male. This came as a complete shock to me. I was heartbroken and devastated. By the way, this comes from user OKCarrot5110. And if you want to submit your stories, you can do so on the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I felt betrayed as I had spent 7 years of my life with this woman, and it all felt like a lie now. When I confronted her, she told me that she, quote, had to live her truth and that she tried to suppress her identity because she didn't come to terms with it until she met her partner. When I asked whether she loved me, she told me that while she loves me, it's different than how she loved her new partner. This broke my heart even further. The divorce was quick, as she did not want anything from me, and we agreed to do a 50-50 split of custody, but I decided to go no contact with her and handled the custody transfer process through my sister, 27, female, whom I moved in with after the divorce. I sold the house, and we mutually agreed that the excess money from the sale will be in a college fund for our son in the future. I could not bear the stay in that house anymore, as it kept reminding me of her betrayal. For context, she introduced her partner as her work friend, and I believed it. I had no reason to suspect anything, and they had several girls' nights, but I figured that they were probably using these as cover for the affair. For 6 months, I was in a depressive state because I didn't know where I went wrong, but this is one of those scenarios that anything I would have done wouldn't have been able to make it better. This made me even more depressed, and the fact that all the vows and little things that she said at our wedding, all just lies trying to keep up a ruse, made it even worse. The 2 people that got me through this state were my sister, whom I am eternally grateful for, helping with her nephew and helping me while maintaining her career. The other person that got me through this was my ex-college girlfriend. Around 4 months after the divorce, we reconnected at a reunion, and she really helped me through the worst of it as a friend. Around a year after the divorce, we officially started dating, and I introduced her to my son. During all this time, my ex's partner had been having limited interactions with my son. This was not because of me saying anything, but my ex-wife wanted him to adjust to his new reality. My son is in that weird age that he understands what's going on, but he doesn't really understand what's actually going on. If you know, you know. He understands that mommy has a girlfriend and that me and his mom are not together anymore. I'm pretty happy considering we didn't really talk to him about the LGBTQ+ stuff because we had decided that we can talk about this when he's a bit older, but I'm happy that he's come to terms with the divorce. Around 8 months ago, my ex said that she was officially moving in with her partner and that she was engaged. At this point, I still was on no contact except brief conversations that concerned our son. She invited me to the wedding, but I declined. They were planning to have a destination wedding in Spain where her girlfriend lives. She wanted to take our son to the wedding, and he would have had to miss school for a week since she wanted him to meet her girlfriend's family as well. I told her that missing school for a week does not make sense and that she should plan her wedding when he has a vacation since she doesn't have a fixed date yet. She argued that most likely they won't have a date that will align with his vacation and that they are getting married as soon as possible. I relented and agreed since I didn't want to interact with her anymore, and it was well within her rights to have her son at her wedding. The problem started when my son came back after the wedding. He was supposed to stay with me since we have a flexible week in, week out custody agreement. She wanted to take my son on her honeymoon so that he has a chance to bond with his new stepmother. What? What did I just read? I want to take my son onto my honeymoon trip.
I just don't think like kids should be on any honeymoon trip whatsoever.
Not the point of that.
Even if you got married and went on a trip afterwards, don't call it honeymoon.
I told her that she had already had 2 weeks with him since she had custody for a week before the wedding and that I wanted to spend some father-son time with him. I told her that it was well within my rights that she should go spend some time with her new wife. She argued that since our son's interactions with her partner were limited because of her busy schedule, that this was a great opportunity for them to bond. No, it isn't, you freaking weirdo. I told her that she had 2 weeks for him to get to know her partner. She said that they were busy with the wedding and did not have time. I told her that I had taken vacation days for us to go to a motorcycle expo and build a Lego set. 2 things that my son absolutely loves. She kept arguing, and I finally told her that the custody was placed for a reason, and that's the one thing I will not negotiate on. She got angry at me and left. Me and my son had a great experience. I even got him one of those kid-sized motorcycles since he liked them so much. Over the next few weeks, we returned back to our week in, week out routine. One day, I find that my ex posted a photo shoot of them and my son under a caption of #mommies. I thought that it was a post and it probably meant nothing, but it was showing them as a family, and something about that did not sit right with me. When I got my son for the week, I asked him that if his mom was saying anything to him. He relented a bit, but told me that his mother had been trying to convince him to call her partner his mom. This was a shock to me, as I never expected my ex to do this. Then again, I've been wrong about these things before. I asked him if that's something he wanted, and he told me that he is much more comfortable calling her by her first name and that he feels weird calling two people mom. I told him it's okay and that he shouldn't feel pressured to do anything. I called my ex and asked her to meet up because this was serious and I wanted to discuss this. I confronted her about this and she told me that since her and her partner were married, it's only natural for our son to have two moms. I told her that it's not okay for her to try and convince him into calling her partner his mom because she is not his mother. She doesn't have an active parenting role in his life and that any major parenting decisions require the two of us. She tried making an argument that since me and my girlfriend were becoming serious now and that eventually I might want him to start calling her mom, which again makes no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
Let the kid decide who he wants to call what.
Yep. Like my grandma was supposed to be called Gam Gam, but she got called Mimi. That's what cousin Olivia could figure out at first.
And then
And
now
kids come to that, you know?
Yeah.
That's how it
that's the
works.
way it is. I told her even if we become serious, I won't try and convince our son to start calling her mom because he already has two parents and he doesn't need more. Then she dropped the bombshell on me and told me that she and her partner were hoping that eventually down the line they could file for adoption. I'll still be able to visit and see my son, but she wanted her and her wife to have legal guardianship because they wanted to build a new family with them. So I told her absolutely not, and that our parents have no say in our kids' lives. She accused me of being homophobic for denying her the right to a complete family. And I told her while her life is her choice, our son's life has to be a thing that we decide ourselves. And by the way, lady, you can go ahead and adopt whoever you want. Why don't you go ahead and adopt a different kid? Why does it have to be this ours? I ended the conversation there and told my son to tell me if her mother tries to force him to do anything that he doesn't want to do. 3 weeks later, I found out that my ex had enrolled him in Spanish lessons that he told me that he hated doing. For context, my ex is Latin and her partner is Spanish, so they are more comfortable talking to each other in Spanish. We made the decision to raise our son in English because it made sense at the time, as she speaks English better than Spanish and I don't speak any Spanish. When I discussed this, she told me that she would like her son to connect more to his heritage. I said that I don't have any problem with that, but we have tried this several times before when we were married, and he has shown zero interest in it. She told me that this time might be different since he'll have two Spanish speakers at home. I told her that I am all in favor of bilingualism because two languages are always an advantage, especially for kids. But if he doesn't want to do it, there's no real reason to force him to do it. Maybe try another language. She then accuses me of denying our son his roots and goes on a tirade of accusing me of denying our son his identity and coming back to me, denying her right to a family. My girlfriend usually stays out of these matters, but she advised me to contact my lawyer and see what they can actually do. My lawyer told me that even if they send an adoption notice, I can contest it, and it would take something exceptional like abandonment, etc. for my contest to get rejected. My ex keeps posting our son as a part of her new family, and it's honestly starting to trigger me.
Trying to get in your head, dude. Don't let her. Do not let her get in your head.
2 weeks ago, I interacted for the first time with my ex's new wife after the divorce. She contacted me and asked me to meet up. She told me that my ex had finally started to recover from the social trauma of coming out and building a new life with her, and that I am now getting in the way of the happiness. She accused me of being emotionless and uncaring through our divorce, and how I guilt-tripped her into agreeing to my demands of 50-50 custody, and how I should just agree to the eventual adoption in a few years because she has always wanted a son, and that I will still remain my son's dad and I can still visit him. I told her that I don't care what her emotional state was during the divorce.
I just remembered a very sad sad, tragic tale.
Oh, what is it?
I remember when a young Samuel Donner, he wanted to join the cool kids, but instead of labeling you as one of the cool kids,
They called me Salad Boy because I ate nothing but salads. Could not trade my lunch for a lunch bowl, really anything.
You know what community will always welcome you with open arms, Sam?
And make you feel like a cool kid?
The great people who have OK Storytime memberships.
Oh, I heard that 60 plus hours of members only content Monday, Wednesday, Fridays.
You heard right, Sam, and it's only $5 a month.
So go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join. Now back to the story.
Chomp, chomp.
And that my demands were fair even to the most irrational person. I told her that if they want to create this image of a perfect family, then they should have another kid that has no connection to me. I feel like all this has started to affect my son more than anything. He is a lot less happier than he was just a few months ago as we had started to adjust to this new reality. For context, since I know this is going to come up eventually, the emotional trauma of my ex coming out is basically the fact that her family effectively disowned her after coming out. Her parents don't talk to her anymore, while my son has plenty of interactions with his maternal grandparents when he's with me. Those two combined make significantly more money than I do alone. However, my ex-wife makes less money than me, but her partner is in a senior position, so she has more stability. This is also an argument my ex-wife used when we discussed adoption, since they can send our son to a private school and generally give him a better life. Hey, did you know that you can do that without adopting him? So by holding that over his head as some sort of token or some bargaining leverage, all it's telling me is that you're using your kid as a tool to win a negotiation, which is insane. Again, completely insane. I don't know if this is a factor, but the recent elections may have caused this to be because they are worried that they might not be able to adopt soon, but they don't want to adopt my son now, but in a few years. So I doubt this to be true. And here comes the update. First of all, I'd like to clarify that my son and I have been going to therapy since the divorce. He was doing quite well until the whole mom saga happened. My in-laws disowned her after she came out. They were not even aware about the affair when she came out to them. They still spend time with my grandson under the condition that they don't badmouth my ex and don't preach their views to him. They agreed and said that they valued a relationship with their grandson over any political view they might hold. I have been a part of every interaction that they have had with him because I was worried they might say something. Thankfully, this has not been the case. Her extended family has said to me that they have cut off all ties with her as well, some for the affair and some for her being gay. Our mutual friends also cut her off because of the affair. All of our mutual friends were my work buddies and their spouses/partners. I did not ask them to do anything. They came to the decision on their own. I was actually glad when she told me that she had made a friend on her own, as she used to complain about not liking her colleagues. We all know how that turned out. I'm pretty sure they're not planning to skip the country. I have all my son's documents, and we decided it during the divorce because she was still figuring out where to go, and since I was moving in with my sister, the chances of them getting misplaced were low. I also have had no demands for any documents, and she returned the passport to me when we came back. The whole adoption thing probably stems from the fact that my son has a very close relationship with his mother. The only times he has really complained to me is when she asked him to call her partner mom, and that she was making him do Spanish classes that he did not want. We did everything for him equally during our marriage, but I had to travel out of my state to my parents frequently during the vid because they were sick with pre-existing conditions and couldn't take care of themselves. My sister was on an assignment abroad at the time. My sister also agreed with this. Please let me know your thoughts. I listened to people and contacted my lawyer, who is also my friend, this morning. He told me the same thing as last time, and that it would take something really unusual for the adoption process to go through like a child abandonment situation. He also said that they're a bunch of idiots that have no idea how the law works. He also told me that if the whole "we want to adopt him" is a real thing, and if she's talking crap about me to my son and I could prove it, I could get full custody. This has not been the case, as I've not heard my son say that his mom says bad things about me, and this brought me a sigh of relief. I plan to contact my ex today with the following conditions. We both install parenting apps and document all interactions. No more mention to me or my son regarding adoption or calling her partner mom. No more posting images of my son as a part of their perfect queer family, because frankly, I don't want my son's photos on the internet when he's so young, and he can decide what he wants when he's older. I plan to talk to my ex in a couple of hours. Please let me know what you think about this. And there's a second update with the, I'm guessing, update on the situation. Hello all. So I talked to my ex today. She was busy yesterday and I wanted some more time to gather my thoughts. When we met, I put forth my demands, and she told me that the parenting app idea seems fine and that she has no problem with it. She got sad when I told her to drop the idea of adoption and calling her partner mom, as it's just not going to happen. She told me that her family was pressuring her to settle down. I proposed after a year of dating, and I did not know this. And getting pregnant so soon after getting married was not what she had in mind. She got pregnant a year and a half after getting married. Is that soon? I don't know. She told me that she was in the closet all her life because of her parents, and that she thought marrying me would cause her feelings to subside, and that she was happy until she met her partner. She did go through postpartum depression after giving birth, but I did not know that she didn't want to get pregnant so soon. She then told me that they, her wife and her, that the reason they wanted to adopt my son was because she wanted to start new. She then said that she was never really happy during our marriage, and that with her new wife, she could have the family she always dreamed of having. She didn't want my son to grow up to resent her for being a lesbian. She doesn't have the exposure to people like her apart from her and her partner. Look, I have to be honest here. I don't know any gay people, nor anyone in my friends or family is gay. We never talked about these things because it simply doesn't come up in our daily life. But that doesn't mean me and my son have no idea who they are, especially after the divorce. I told her that this is not going to happen and that he has had a lot of exposure to people from her community. I told her that seems like a BS reason for separating my son and me, and that she is making up some random reason to make it seem like it is. And I agree. Because she's low-key trying to say, like, well, I don't want my son to grow up to, like, hate me for being gay. I don't want him to be homophobic, so he should be raised by us. And it's like, hi, hello. Not every person raised in a straight relationship is homophobic.
Yeah.
Like, what are we talking about?
I don't know.
You want a fresh start with your new partner, your new life, but you want our kid to be legally yours
Seems like
and not mine. And you want me to give up all my rights as a parent.
Freaking Hall, she has absolutely no regard for OP or his feelings. Yes, and I
Exactly.
feel like she's just like trying to like whatever she can get and grab to have her son with her.
And it's all emotional. It's all emotional manipulation from them. After some arguing, she told me the real reason why she and her partner want to adopt my son. Reddit is crazy for your prediction abilities. Like, honestly, wow. Apparently, they wanted to adopt my son because her wife and her are considering moving to Spain in a few years. I told her that she can't do that and that the legal framework supports me and my rights in both countries. She told me that she knew this and that's why they wanted to get me to sign adoption. I told her that she was crazy, that she in no way is able to do this as she still needs my permission to take him out of the country, as when she did when they got married in Spain. I also read a comment yesterday on the update and researched a bit on the laws regarding this, so I know this is not happening. She told me again that they have done their research and that this was to see if I would agree. In case I agreed, they would consider moving, and in case I don't, they won't because she doesn't want to be separated from my son. I again emphasize that this is not going to happen and that if she tries anything or says anything to my son, I will sue for full custody. She got sad again and told me that they wanted to check with me first. I told her, in what world would you expect me to give you and your wife full custody? First you divorce me, leave me for a woman, and then expect me to sign over my child and act like nothing happened. I told her from this point on, we will document everything, every interaction we have, and that if I even get a whiff of you trying to pull something, I will sue for full custody. She got a bit scared at the idea of losing full custody. I guess she didn't really consider me doing that, and she agreed. I then told her not to paint this picture of a picture-perfect queer family that they are trying to do because that is not going to happen. Our son has a mom and a dad that he spends half his time with each, not two moms. He is not your affair partner's son. He is your son and mine. If you want a child with her, you can do so on your own. I then told her that the courts are more likely to side with me than you in this case because of the thing you have been trying to do and the fact that I work from home and spend more actual time with him than you and your wife. I've been trying for him to have a stable relationship with both parents since the divorce because I don't want him to resent either of us, but if you try to remove me from his life, I will sue for full custody and deal with any resentment he has for either of us. I didn't want to argue anymore and I left the room. I secretly recorded the conversation because I wanted to have proof in case anything happens in the future. Honestly, Reddit, I have been very angry at my ex since the divorce. I have not shown it around her and my son because I don't want her to use this against me in any way and have been going to therapy, but I am still internally angry. The comments she made today about our marriage really hurt me even more. I've spent 7 years with this woman and her betrayal still makes me angry to this day. When I got home, I contacted my lawyer friend and he again reiterated that they would have to kidnap him. I again asked him if there was anything else we could do, and he said that the current agreement is very thorough. We've made sure of that. If I want full custody or not is up to me, but I have to be sure that I want to put me or my son through the whole process. I don't want my son to grow up without either of his parents, as that is just not healthy for him. That is why I won't sue for full custody now. If they are stupid enough to kidnap him, I'm sure they are not. Then the law sides with me anyway. I know what position her partner is at their workplace, so I know they're making good money to leave it all behind for no good reason. As for the passport thing, I have all his documents, and all things such as notifying travel, hospital visits, and others are already in the signed custody agreement. We already have a legal framework for all of this. I am not going to sue for full custody now because I don't want that for my son. My ex-wife is still a good mother and loves him, and he enjoys spending time with her. Plus, my son is the type of person to openly voice out what he doesn't find okay to me. So I will know if they continue any of their nonsense. And by the way, if you want to continue your nonsense with us, you can do so at your discretion because there's full episodes with stories just like this. All you have to do is go to Spotify or Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts and search OK Storytime. There is some more story here. I mean,
again, zero consideration for her husband, or not ex-husband, with someone that she spent years of. No, there's a lot here. There's a lot of things to dissect here. Number one, marrying someone whenever he's not attracted to that sex.
yeah, it's like,
And,
and that
deceiving
comes from a
someone.
deep place, right? It's like
Yeah.
she said she always knew that she was gay. Literally had to be closeted because she knew her family would not accept her.
Yeah, which
Like the whole
that is messed up, and I don't know what people's stories are, but I mean, I understand where he's coming at from a place of anger. And
Well, exactly.
The fact that he's went to therapy and worked on that is awesome.
It should be able to be acknowledged that like what she went through with being closeted and like being rejected by her family is terrible, but that in that same stroke, it like doesn't excuse what happened to OP and that decision and her behavior like caused him to be deeply hurt.
Yeah.
And even though the root of that from her is coming from a place of like not being accepted and being kind of afraid of being rejected and disowned and stuff, like it still is like the hurt that he experienced is still real. And like nobody on the other side has acknowledged that he has felt anything. And it blows my mind that they keep talking like it's like, well, shouldn't you just want to give us the kid anyway? Like then you won't have to take care of it. And it's like, whoa, who do you think I am? Crazy.
We got a little bit left of the story.
Let's go. On a more positive note, y'all, I am not against Spanish lessons, but he doesn't like them. I was just suggesting that he try some languages that he likes. There are other languages out there. I didn't say it to my ex then, but now I know that she was trying for him to learn Spanish because of the Spain thing. Thank you to everyone for their support. It really helped me with understanding the problem. And holy crap, I didn't even consider her considering moving to Spain until I read the comments. Y'all are great at this.
But dude, that one was wild.
That
My
was wild.
gosh.
Like
it was heavy too. I didn't know how to respond to most of that.
it's just it's a really unfortunate situation, and it's like clearly,
I would be devastated if that happened.
and this is why it's hard, man. It's like I would say that the moral of that story is that like if you live a lie for too long, like a lot, like people will get hurt. More people than just you. That is the end of that story.
I inherited everything from my father. My sister is furious.
Hey, money me, give money me. I want your money me now.
I'm in my late 40s, married, and we are a single income house. Husband works. I take care of literally everything else. My adult son still lives with us while in college and also working full time. He doesn't make a lot. And what he does make goes to tuition, so he doesn't pay rent, though he does cover other non-food related needs. And by the way, this comes from U-Professional Elk 5272 on the ROK Storytime subreddit. So my sister is in her early 50s, divorced, and of course also has a single income household. Her youngest turned 18 and moved out in August last year, so the child support stopped. She does work, has a master's degree, and although I won't state her chosen field, she doesn't make that much currently, less than my husband in his field with no degree, or at least that's what she tells me. We each have our debts. We have a mortgage, a line of credit on our house, a loan for some plumbing, and 2 credit cards, ongoing vet expenses, car repairs, etc., etc. My sister's biggest debt is college loans she struggles to pay, a care credit bill because her cat ate a ribbon in June and needed emergency surgery. Do not mention a cat right now.
Do
With
not
Dakota in the room.
not let your cats eat ribbons, fools.
And an IRS bill because I guess she doesn't have enough taxes taken out of her check throughout the year, and also no longer has a dependent to claim. If her college loans weren't on an income-based payment plan at the moment, her payments would be $700 plus. We took out a line of credit on our house to try to pay some of our debts. She tapped into her 401k. Still, technically, if you went dollar for dollar, our debts are greater. Our father passed in May. Probate took a few months. As the title says, he left everything to me, and everything includes some investment money, which is more money than either of us will ever see at once. His house, which is badly in need of serious costly repair that is not just cosmetic and all the stuff in it, mostly music memorabilia, old furniture, and moldy crap. Dude, that must suck. To your father passed away, which is already so tragic, and then he leaves everything to your sister.
I wonder why.
That's a good question.
Like, what was the reasoning there? There had to be some kind of reasoning there, right?
I don't know.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Either way,
Maybe she'll say.
hard situation to navigate, right?
And it just causes. I imagine it'd be so easy for that to like cause like conflict between you and the sister
Oh.
who received everything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Dude, so many families break, like go no contact because of like bad wills or just like issues with the legal process with that.
Yeah.
Like that's speaking from experience of my family. It gets messy.
Yeah, it's certainly best to get in front of it. That's for sure.
All right. A real estate agent took an informal look around as a favor. House was still packed after he passed away and estimated that if we sold it as is, we might get $200,000. The house flipping people she knew were not interested in taking it on.
Damn.
It must be a bad
Dude,
house.
that thing is in bad
If the people
shape.
that
If the
flip
flippers are
bad
like,
houses are like,
there's no money there.
I'm not taking that.
You might as well burn it down and sell the land. Like, that's crazy.
The house flipping people said she knew were not interested in taking it on. Dad still owed $83K on it. Damn, so it comes with the bill.
Okay.
So whatever it does sell for, that comes right off the top. He also passed away with over $100,000 of medical debt, but thankfully none of those debtors put a lien against the house before the 6 months was up. I have made every single loan payment, the property taxes on his house, repairs on his furnace. I will be paying for the dumpster or junk removal people. I will be paying for storage for the stuff being saved. I paid for the probate attorney. I paid for the funeral. I didn't ask for help with any of that and don't feel she has any responsibility to, for the record, yeah, he left everything to you.
I mean, yeah, exactly.
So far, Dad passing away has cost me $18,000. The inheritance isn't free. Yeah, but it's like it's $18,000 taken out of.
It is
money
true. There's,
that
I
is
mean,
yours.
it's not free. There's money that gets taken out of it, but you do end up probably at the end of the day on top.
With- yeah.
Like you're not
Yeah.
paying more than what you're getting.
Yeah.
But you do, yeah. It's like winning the lottery. It's like winning the lottery is also not
You gotta
free.
pay your taxes.
You got to pay all the
Your
tax.
metaphorical taxes.
Yeah.
So why did he leave everything to me? Good question.
Yes, please.
He was an extremely difficult man, a narcissist, spiteful, emotionally and
Oh.
verbally abusive, bitter from being in a wheelchair from his 30s on. Passed away at 70, and he ran off every single family member and friend he had, my sister included.
Well, turns out she did nothing.
Yeah. He was,
Turns out he was a
lack of better words, he was a difficult man to be with. Nothing was ever his fault. It was always the other person, according to him. She chose to cut contact for her own sanity, which I was a little jealous of and fully supported. They did not part on good terms, and they hadn't spoken or seen each other in almost 20 years. I didn't leave. He and I had no healthy boundary. For over 20 years, I was there almost every weekend, both days, almost every holiday. He required it, or it was a fight. At times, I was on the phone with him up to 10 hours a day, every day.
full-time job.
I
Well, that's
feel-
why you got all the money. That's why you got everything.
you
were
deserve
doing
all
the
the money.
full-time job.
And yet, it's
Taking
like,
care of your narcissistic father. Crazy.
it's like I'm conflicted. I feel like so sad for you and mad for you, and yet you created the scenario where you're the victim. Or you didn't create it, but you were complicit to it by being the only one who didn't leave like everyone else did.
What do you mean?
So it's like,
That's the person. That's the one getting the inheritance.
yes.
Yeah.
So
You mean
saying,
a victim of like the situation with like?
I'm
not that
saying
the
I'm
sister
so
is
upset
mad.
for her. I'm so sad for her that she had to experience the brute of her father. But she was the only one who didn't put boundaries down with him.
Oh yeah.
And so she stayed.
But hey, you
in-
got a sick inheritance out of it, right?
So you do deserve that inheritance, but I wish you just put down boundaries. And I understand it's highly complex, and I don't understand the scenario.
What if this situation is just OP's a sociopath who's just been playing the long game for the inheritance? No, it's not true. It's not true. I'm just messing around.
Conspiracy.
Okay, where it's not true.
All right.
I just remembered a very sad, tragic tale.
Oh, what is it?
I remember when a young Samuel Donner, he wanted to join the cool kids, but instead of labeling you as one of the cool kids,
They called me Salad Boy because I ate nothing but salads. Could not trade my lunch for a lunch. Really anything.
You know what community will always welcome you with open arms, Sam?
And make you feel like a cool kid?
The great people who have OK Storytime memberships.
Oh, I heard that 60 plus hours of members only content Monday, Wednesday, Fridays.
You heard right, Sam, and it's only $5 a month.
So go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join. Now back to the story.
Chomp, chomp.
So for over 20 years, I was there almost every weekend, both days, almost every holiday. He required it or it was a fight. At times, I was on the phone with him up to 10 hours a day, every day. When I was there, I cooked for him, cleaned his house. I did his grocery shopping. I went to all his doctor's appointments. I got him ready for those doctor appointments. I did all his wound care. He did not because he complained about having how hard it was. And there were many wounds, many rounds of rehab hospital stays.
Full time.
Full time. Not only are you like bearing the brunt of being the only relationship he has, you're his nurse.
Yeah.
You're in full charge of his care. That's
Full time.
awful. He spent almost 3 years going to weekly wound care appointments. I even cleaned him up when he had bathroom accidents. When he fell out of bed, my husband and I were the ones he called in the AM to come help him. I'm not saying like that, like I deserve a pat on the back. I'm not a saint. Excuse me. I resented a lot of responsibility and did my share of complaining, but if I stopped, there was no one else. He lived alone with a dog, no friends, no family, and he was not capable of caring for himself while refusing any form of assisted living, nursing home, or paid care at home because, you know, that was supposed to be me 24/7. According to him, it was in his will that he was going to leave everything to me and just $100 to my sister, in quotes, to get wasted on because he was past.
Bitter. Just a bitter
Yeah.
man.
Seriously. Yeah, he was that kind of cruel. She knew and refused the $100 because, like a normal person, she was hurt and insulted. He had to go out with like a jab. Jesus. I don't know if his will actually said that verbatim. His lawyer friend said it didn't, but I've not seen it, and indeed everything was left to me. My sister knew this and even signed a paper with the probate attorney that she was not contesting. I've given her whatever she has wanted to keep of his possessions as we've gone through his wrecked house, regardless of value, because, like, who cares? Just stuff. It was her dad, too. I've not given her money currently, but I've told her over and over and over that I'll help her once the house sells. Hopefully before summer comes and we see what money we have to work with. I told her I'd pay her $3,000 IRS bill when it's due in June. That's nice.
Yeah.
Repeatedly, I've told her I will help. She just has to wait. I'm waiting. I've done nothing frivolous with the investment money. My husband and I are not living it up. I've not paid a single bill of ours that wasn't directly related to my father because I need to know that what there is to work with after the house sells. The investment money is what remains of my father's lawsuit from the accident that led him to be in a wheelchair 30 years ago, and it's not quite 6 figures. Although I have been losing money with the way the stock market has been, as long as the money is in there, it is earning, and the more that stays in there, the more it earns. We'll also have to pay taxes on anything that is taken out. I will never have the money to put back what's taken out either. And if you don't want to take out, but you want to receive, you could listen to full episodes with stories like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, your favorite podcast app, and search OK Storytime. So, there's another relevant update, but let's discuss. I feel like I don't really have too much to say. Do you have anything to say?
I'm waiting for the sister to be furious. It seems like
it's leading
the sister does not care.
Yeah.
It seems like. I think we need to hear the end of the story before I'm ready to talk on it because I'm waiting for that.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm waiting for this other shoe to drop about the
And we're
sister.
also speedrunning this story. So.
Yeah.
My sister knew this money existed, but not the amount until recently because I knew it would stir up bad feelings, so I didn't tell her. And I was not wrong. She's now angry with me, angry that I've had access to this money the entire time and haven't paid off her bills, forcing her to tap into her 401k. So, am I the a-hole? Am I being unreasonable asking her to wait until our father's house sells and not giving her any of the money he left to me right now? He doesn't even want my husband to touch it. I don't think you owe your sister anything. And also, you are intending to help your sister.
Exactly.
And it's going to just be it's going to be financially more comfortable because in like will processes, knowing from personal experiences with family members, and also conflict from that, things change drastically. And so it's best not to like communicate what certain numbers will be because it changes. It's like it's so up in the air of like what that number is going to be.
That was like OP's entire reasoning.
Exactly.
OP was like, I'm not
Like,
playing
I just
around
need
with it until I know how much is there.
Exactly. And so that seems quite reasonable and smart to me to be like, hey, I'm not using any of the money. I'm not giving you any of the money. And I will help you out, even though I don't have to, but it's kind that she's helping her out.
Yeah.
Once I know what money is available, it seems like that's the most intelligent thing to do.
I think, just probably, I don't know. I'm sure maybe you've already had this conversation with your sister, but just letting her know the full game plan. And also being like, also, I think what our dad did was messed up. I think it's really messed up that he just, left you $100. And any of this money that can go towards helping you pay off any debts that you have, I'm more than happy to help you. But we just have to wait until we know what we're working with. And then, because I have my own life. I want to be able to use this money to help me and my partner and you. I think we can all prosper here. We just have to wait. And so it's just a waiting game.
And also, it's like, I celebrate her for going no contact with her dad. I think that was a good decision. But if you're going to cut someone out of your life, you're not entitled to their money when they pass.
True.
And so I'm not celebrating OP for staying in relationship with her father. Although, if anyone deserves the money, it's OP.
Yes.
If you want more stories like this, search for our podcast, OK Storytime, on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
I let my daughter connect with her biological father who's in jail, but my husband is concerned about it.
I'm concerned too.
So let me add some context. I, 29 female, and fiance, 29 male, have been together for 10 years next month and plan on getting married next month. Also, we have 3 children aged 12, 8, and 7. My oldest daughter is from a previous relationship, so we don't know what age she is, but her stepdad came into her life right before her 2nd birthday. And by the way, this comes from do_track9407, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to ROK Storytime subreddit. So she calls her stepdad Dad. They have a good relationship, and he's always treated her like his own. To him, she is his. Her bio dad has been almost non-existent in her life due to his substance addiction and staying in and out of prison. When she was smaller, it was easier to just go about our lives and not really pursue anything to do with him because 1, he didn't really try, and I wasn't going to force anything, and 2, he wasn't in any good place where I could trust him with our daughter in any type of way. We both knew the older she got, she'd probably get more curious and ask questions and maybe even want to try herself to pursue a relationship. Does she know that?
I'm assuming she's, aware that her dad is in prison.
Last week, she gathered up the courage to ask if she would possibly write him in prison because she wants to get to know him. She says she thinks about him often, doesn't want to hurt our feelings. I told her our feelings don't matter when it comes to this situation. My love for her is greater than the disdain I have for the things he's done. So, of course, tell her yes. I've always told myself I would always facilitate the relationship whenever she got older because I don't want that to cause resentment towards me or her stepdad. So her stepdad has always encouraged it briefly because we both just want the best for her and for him as well. So this past week, they've sent numerous messages to each other. So the daughter is sending messages back and forth with her bio dad.
Yeah.
And I could see a positive change in her. It makes her happy. And her happiness is all that matters. But now her stepdad has started to kind of switch sides. After he found some papers that she's written down on questions and talking points to write to her bio dad and has said to me, not to her, that he doesn't understand why she's doing this. He doesn't know what she thinks the outcome will be. He just doesn't see what she thinks she'll get out of it. And whenever her bio dad messes up and just stops communicating once he's out of prison, I told him she's just curious. It's natural. He's her dad and we know this day was coming. What we can do is be there for her. And if anything goes wrong, pick up the pieces for her. Then he said, whenever it goes wrong, he's going to give my daughter a big fat "I told you so," which I replied is wrong and somewhat hateful.
Yeah, why would you do that?
I told you so to your daughter who's trying to have a relationship with her father. Why would you rub it in her face? Which could be extremely traumatizing to a child already suffering the pain of that scenario if it happened.
Yeah. And also, I think that you could, have those kind of fears and stuff in your head and tell your daughter, hey, it might not go the way that you want it to.
And because I
but
love
we support
you,
you.
I'm a little worried.
Yes.
And I want to just.
That's totally different than being like, well, I'm going to tell her I told you so.
Now he was super angry and just stormed out and left. I can understand why he has these feelings. I'm feeling somewhat at a loss. I don't want this to cause any type of rift in their relationship, in our relationship, and I don't want it to cause any type of problems. I don't want to make her feel bad for wanting this, and I don't want to be made feel bad for helping her and being excited with her. And I don't want to tip over him and his feelings about it. I know he loves her and might feel a little jealous. It may be just hurt like he's not enough, which isn't the case. She even told me she can't bring herself to call her bio dad because that's not her dad.
Yeah.
Her stepdad is her dad and has been and will be forever. It's just a sticky situation, and I want to be doing the right thing for my daughter, but also for my family, period. Any advice is welcome. Can we please just keep it somewhat nice? Because I feel like an a-hole. Okay, there's an edit.
OP is the farthest person from an a-hole in this story.
Yeah, she's being so mature.
Yeah.
It's facilitating
In
this
both
relationship
scenarios,
with
yeah.
her daughter, with her bio dad, because she cares for the daughter.
And also being just like very understanding of her husband's kind of point of view of feeling maybe jealous, and everyone saying that he might be feeling threatened by
and that makes sense. It's your daughter by all points.
Yes.
Edit number 1, I want to be clear that communication between my daughter and bio dad is completely supervised. They are online messages and it's set up on my phone, and I screen every message that comes in from him and out from her. They are harmless and just inquisitive, him asking her about school and the things she likes. Before I agreed, I did reach out to his caseworker and asked about his time there. There are weekly substance tests in this prison, and he hasn't had an issue passing any of them. He has a job also in there, and is subject also to randoms, which he's passed all. Before even connecting, they both, including myself, had to be approved by the facility before having any contact. My daughter has been in therapy for the last 6 months also, and this is a big point for them. He's also in therapy in prison for his substance tendencies. We have sat down and talked to her about substance tendencies and all aspects as much as a 12-year-old can comprehend. I'm not just throwing my daughter into it. 12-year-old is like pretty old.
Yeah, I mean, old enough to understand.
When I was 13, I was smoking the green leaf.
12?
Well, that's
When I was 13.
that's
What?
crazy.
I don't know.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Is that crazy?
Yeah.
It shows.
At 13?
I had curious friends who brought some curious things in my life.
That's crazy.
Is that? I don't know. I know it's
That's
young. I know it's young.
That's
I don't know if it's
young.
crazy.
Wait, did you go to
That's
public school?
Crazy.
All right. See, we went to Catholic school.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, you're looking through it in the lens of Catholic school.
Yeah.
Catholic school.
I
Yeah,
know.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So actually, I won't lie. Yeah, my friends did do that.
What?
My public school friends. My
Yeah.
public school friends were
Oh,
doing
okay.
that at that age.
So, I mean, at that age, I had a
Did I
good
get peer
idea
pressured?
what
Did I get peer
substance
pressured? I don't know.
tendencies
I don't
are.
remember.
There will always be a level of hesitancy when it comes to this for my daughter's safety and emotional well-being. We got an update.
John, you've been dancing a lot.
I'm going to give you a live demonstration and you're going to see it too.
Show me those hips. Oh, damn. That is a good move. But you know what is also an amazing move?
What is that, Sam?
Becoming an OK Storytime member.
Yeah, that's freaking right. We have 60 plus hours of exclusive live streams on Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays.
And it's only $5 a month. So go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Well, let's get back to the story.
Thanks everyone for the replies, good and bad. I appreciate it all. My fiance came immediately back and apologized to me. I sense it was just like him being
Yeah,
triggered.
I think it's really good that this wasn't a conversation he had with his daughter. This was something that stayed between the OP and him.
Yeah. Okay, so he apologized to me and knew what he said was wrong and out of emotion. He expressed his fears of her bio dad hurting her and our daughter painting this fairy tale in her head only for her bio dad to squash it whenever given the opportunity, whenever he is free. If he is free, he says no matter what, she is his daughter, period.
Aww.
And doesn't want her to be hurt at all as long as he has a say-so. But he also realizes there could be resentment build up towards him, and if we don't let her just simply have a conversation with the man. He says it feels like a double-edged sword either way, and I agree. Yeah, so he loves his daughter. He cares for her. He doesn't want her to be hurt.
Yeah.
My fiance's feelings are completely valid to me, and I made sure he does feel heard and not shut out pertaining the situation. He also brought up family therapy himself without me bringing it up first, which I think is a huge green flag, which has denied therapy before in the past for dealing with his own childhood trauma. So he's come around. I apologized to him and he said it wasn't needed, but I still did. We hugged for a long time and picked up my oldest from school an hour early and went and got some pizza and talked. My daughter told him nobody could ever replace him because nobody can ever come close. And I really think he needed to hear that.
Aww.
This is sweet.
This is really sweet.
Yeah.
It really, really came around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She also apologized for being curious, but we also stopped that in its tracks. And he said she has his blessing to do so. We've talked about setting safe boundaries and to be extra cautious with her feelings and to not be afraid to come to us about anything. We just want to make sure we are doing right by our child. Thanks again, everyone, for the input. And if wanted, I'll put in another update after family therapy is in the go. I'm also very aware of how good of a man he is and how lucky I am to have him. I make sure to tell him every day, but I'm putting the love down extra hard today. I'm extremely blessed, and so is my oldest daughter, for all the things he's done and how much he loves the both of us. We're all human and make mistakes, but I do think I'm one of the luckiest women around to be able to have him and love him. God bless.
That's lovely.
This is sweet. A happy ending
Yeah.
for a happy boy. I'm happy.
A little happy Friday stream where you have
Yeah.
communication and it solves all of the problems in the story.
Who would have thunk?
Who would have thunk it?
Who would have
Not
thunk
me.
it? Not actually me. I would have.
Look at
Dang
us.
it.
I would
He's
have thunk
thunking it.
You just
He's
gotta
thunking it.
do the things with your mouth where it moves, and and life is good.
What are you doing with your mouth?
Dang.
Oh. Okay.
All right, we got some comments.
What that mouth do?
Should we read 'em?
Communicate.
Communicate and
If
appreciate.
there's any extra information.
Okay,
If
let me
not,
find. Let me
yeah.
say.
Just take a little check.
Oh, you made Nikki Bordeaux cry.
Why did I make you cry? What did I do?
Aw.
I made you cry on a bus?
Cry on the bus? That's messed up.
I'm so sorry.
I never made Nikki Bordeaux cry.
Well.
Okay, we have information on why he's in prison.
Oh.
He's facing 16 years this time for multiple parole violations,
Oh.
possessions of controlled substances as usual.
Is there more?
No.
Okay. That's the whole comment?
Yeah, it's fine.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Solved. We fixed it.
We fixed it.
Fixed the whole world.
I have a request.
What's
Can you
your
make
request?
every story a happy ending when I'm here?
No.
Actually,
Why not?
I'm gonna make sure that you only get.
I have a
sad
request. How
stories
about you
now.
never get us sick again?
Whoa!
I'm just actually just gonna ignore
the cats are out.
when BS is said
the
in my
claws are coming out.
Arr.
Hold on. I'm gonna make sure.
My parents want me to wait for a year before marrying my boyfriend, but I refuse.
That seems like a pretty reasonable thing, though. I mean, let's
Yeah.
go. We need more context.
Let me start this out by defining public. See, we, 24 female and 27 male, are public. Anyone I care about knows about our relationship. The only people we aren't very public with are my family. By the way, this comes from Pink Lioness, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So by public, I mean being open with my family. Important to know that we are an interracial couple. I'm white and he's black. Now let me explain why we haven't been public. We met in high school. I was a freshman and he was a senior. I had a huge crush on him. We texted and flirted, but nothing really happened. He lived in a large foster family home, so no dates allowed. My parents told me that he was too old. They told me that I was not allowed to speak with him until I was 18, and my dad told him to never contact me again. When I left for college, we started chatting again and had our first date. I told my mom we were talking. She said to only date people with nuclear families and to not talk to him till I was 21. When I corrected her and said it was 18, she told me that she was going to drag me home by my hair. In my second year of college, we made it official that we were dating. I texted my mom before Thanksgiving break that I wanted them to meet him. She harassed me about whether I was pregnant and refused to meet him. I told her in a crowded restaurant that we officially were dating, and she got mad at me for hiding. Over the course of the next couple years, every time he got brought up, I could visibly watch her demeanor change. When I tried talking about him in front of the family, my dad told me that they weren't ready. I eventually just stopped talking about him to them. Eventually, my aunt saw his profile picture of us on Facebook and figured it out. My mom said that she assumed we broke up because I wasn't talking about it. Now, I'm moving. He is coming with me, and we want to get married after 5 years together. We both have our masters, and I'm starting on my PhD. My dad told me that my fiance and I haven't done good at being open about our relationship. When I mentioned how my mom threatened me, his only response was, "I didn't say there weren't reasons." He suggested that I give them a year of an open relationship in order to let the bad guys act like bad guys. I tried, and they resisted. I stopped. I want my best friend with me when I take this huge step in life. My mom and her family's position on interracial relationships and race are quite clear-cut and explicit. I'm not exposing him to that, and I don't want to experience it. But is that insensitive? Would I be the a-hole for not entertaining the idea of giving them a chance to get used to our relationship before we get married? Little update. I would like to thank you all for your perspective and advice. I wasn't expecting it to get this blown up. I learned some hard truths and I appreciate that. I can't respond to everyone, but do know that I read your comments and there is still more to this update. But yeah, what's our answer to that question? Is that insensitive? Would she be the a-hole?
No.
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 Yeah.
If anyone's being insensitive, it's your rape parents.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Dad still hasn't shown me like any outwardly explicit reason, but it sounds like OP knows.
But back to the update. I texted my dad this morning letting him know that I wasn't going to put up or expose my fiance to bigotry and rape. I told him that I wanted a healthy relationship with them, but this wasn't how it's going to happen. I'm currently looking into getting teletherapy to help me sort through some deep-rooted issues. I would like to end things on a happy note. My fiance and I are getting very excited for our move. We are going somewhere cold and snowy, which we love. Our cat son and dog daughter are coming. We hope that they will also like the change in the climate despite the 12-hour drive that they are currently and blissfully unaware of. Again, thank you all for your perspective. I will likely have an update in the future, and there are some comments. Comment number 1 says, not the a-hole, your family is a racist. Full stop. There is no need to give your parents a year of your relationship being public. They will likely use this year to come between you and your fiance. They will continue to be racist and negative throughout the wedding planning process and your marriage. Shield your partner from them as much as you can. As a black girl who dates a lot of white men, I know how painful it is to know that your partner's family feels disdainful towards you for being black. From what little information you've provided, you and your future husband sound like you have a solid relationship. Don't give your family the opportunity to interfere. And Opie responds, you're very right. Based on their history, it's not going to go well and he will end up getting hurt. I would never want to expose him to racism just to earn the right to get married, which probably wouldn't happen anyway.
Yeah,
and that sounds about right.
There's no earning that. It's like if you want to get married, go ahead.
Yeah.
I think the old-fashioned notion of like asking for your daughter's hand, it's like, well, if you guys are a couple of bigots, like I don't want to shake your hand. So
Yeah, exactly.
John, we're going to get back to the story, but I got to tell you, I've been loving these pearls that I got in Colombia.
You are a delicious beaded man now.
I do feel more confident at the very least, but I think these pearls pale in the amount of confidence an OK Storytime membership can get you.
That's right. You get 60 plus hours a month of exclusive live stream content. That's advice that'll make you the best version of yourself.
It's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOP show/join.
Crack open that oyster and get the blues. But let's get back to the story.
There was another comment that said basically the same thing, and Opie responded, hit me like some bricks right there. You're absolutely right. I've been silent through their racist attitudes, and that's no good for anybody or our relationship. There is another update. Says, I wish I had a better update. I also wanted to say thank you to those I've commented. I got a lot of encouragement and truth. I am seeing a therapist. A few days after the post, I told both of my parents that we needed to talk about my fiance before I moved 10 hours away. They wanted a Zoom call, but I insisted on a phone call because I didn't want to have to communicate with them and be trying to read their facial expression. The conversation went really badly. I had said that I was tired of being expected to just feed them information when they never asked about my life. It was long silences and being told I was avoiding them when I asked them what they wanted to know about my life. Honestly, I really broke down after the conversation. On top of all the stress of moving and the pandemic, I just couldn't take it. My parents were still refusing to acknowledge anything we had talked about. My fiance was as supportive as you can ask a partner to be during all this, but I was just really struggling. My sleeping schedule completely reversed, in which I was up all night having anxiety attacks and sleeping during the day. At my lowest, I was sitting in my car eating breakfast and straight up sobbing. I finally called my dad that morning, where he apologized and promised to do better. We had a really constructive conversation.
It's nice.
I just wish he had stuck to it. My parents actually finally met him as we moved. We made a pit stop in my hometown since it was on the way, so I could see them and my two best friends before leaving. My dad was polite and friendly. My mom was completely quiet. Moving was stressful as expected, but we're happy and almost settled in. We haven't gotten married yet. With vid cases on the rise, we've been trying to be extra careful. We plan on just a simple courthouse marriage when we get the chance. This is very much to my parents' dismay, since I was raised in a conservative Christian home. Otherwise, my parents have completely reverted to their behavior before my original post. Not talking about it. Not asking about my life. Nothing. They continue to talk about me behind my back, and my dad straight up lied to his sister about how I have a roommate. We will never lie to you when we say that you can find full episodes of stories just like this.
Right.
Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app. Search OK Storytime. We'll be there.
That's right. We will be there. We can be the roommate in your ears.
I'm focusing on my family. I have someone in my life who is genuinely proud of me and interested in my life and happiness. I have a dog and cat and now a kitten that I love with my whole entire heart. We have worked and created a life full of unconditional love. I do agree for a healthy relationship with my parents, but I'm working on recognizing that I can't depend on a change in their behavior for my own well-being. And edits obligatory fur babies here. Edit number 2, just for clarification. I am currently in minimum contact with my parents, meaning that there is basic knowledge of occasional text, and that's it. I give them the minimum to stay in contact with my younger sister. My fiance has absolutely zero contact and exposure to them, and the only reason that they met on the way out of town was so they could grab some identification documents that they had been hesitant to give me. Only one thing to do. They won't respect your wishes, so you don't have to respect theirs. Go no contact. You don't need the stress in your life. Also, for future reference, if you have children, do not allow them to engage and come back into your life. They weren't supportive for 10 years through your relationship, and they will only bring misery and stress afterward. Nobody deserves that, and you do not owe them a god dang thing. OP responds, I'm not in no contact yet. My mom basically just texts me good morning occasionally, still doesn't care about anything, doesn't even ask how school is going for me. I give them the minimum so that I can stay in contact with my younger sister. She still lives with them. I definitely don't plan on letting them have contact with any potential future kids. When I think about exposing them to the things I experienced growing up and now even as an adult, it infuriates me. No kid deserves that. My mom exposed us to their toxic mother. She once held my sister and I hostage in her house for a week. Ooh, and it's a nasty cycle I'm more than happy to break. And that is it.
Yeah, that is indeed the end of that story.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, I'm always pretty hesitant to be like, oh, just go straight no contact, because there's always a lot. It's very easy for strangers on the internet to just be like, completely cut contact with your family members because they're toxic. And it's like, it's true, they are toxic.
Sure.
But there's more that goes into it. It's like the connection with the younger sister. It's like there are factors that can limit a decision that final. But I think OP's in the correct camp of like, it's just like very base surface level contact. And, you know, it is what it is. If they refuse to see that you have a husband instead of a roommate, I wouldn't really entertain conversations with them either.
Yeah.
My in-laws secretly baptized my son behind my back. They're not allowed to babysit again.
What?
Just a little low-key baptism on the low.
What?
My wife and I have a 2-year-old son and have been married for 4 years. Our anniversary was a month ago, and we found a nice secluded cabin on Airbnb and rented it out for a long weekend getaway. By the way, this comes from user No Baptism A-hole. And if you want to submit your own stories, go do it on the r/OKStories subreddit. My wife asked her parents if they would be willing to watch our son, and they agreed as long as we dropped him off at their house. That worked for us since it was on our way anyway. I was raised Lutheran, and my wife was raised Catholic, but neither of us currently go to church and have not had our son baptized. My mother-in-law knows this and hates it. She thinks our son needs to be baptized or he will burn in the lake of fire. She is that kind of Catholic. So we go on our trip, and when we pick up our son and ask how the weekend went, mother-in-law says everything went fine and that she has saved my son's soul from the devil. I ask her what she meant, and she says she had our son baptized that morning at her church. I try my best to keep my cool so I didn't scream at mother-in-law in front of my son, but I pretty much grabbed my son and left. On the car ride home, I was fuming and told my wife as calmly as I could that this would be the last time her parents have our son unsupervised.
Yeah. If they're just run like willy-nilly baptizing him, what are they gonna do next? It's my turn to read the story. She tried to downplay what her mom had done, but I told her we need to wait until we get home to talk about it because I'm not fighting in front of my kid. When we got home and had a chance to talk about it, things got heated. I told my wife I no longer trust her parents with our son, and that if they did something like this behind our backs, I can't trust them to respect our wishes as parents in the future. I said this was a huge breach of trust, and I will forever look at their mom differently. She continued to try to defend her mom, saying that she was only doing what she thought was best for her grandson. She even downplayed it by saying that it's just a little water.
Hello? She's right though, right? It is.
And a few words, and we don't go to church anyway, so what does it matter? I told her that under no circumstances will I allow her parents to watch our son by themselves again. I said that we can still let them see their grandson, but only if we're present. I also said that if she doesn't see what the big deal is with this situation, then maybe we aren't on the same page as parents and maybe we need to see a counselor. She started crying and said that this isn't the kind of decision I get to make on my own, and I'm an a-hole for trying to tell her what kind of relationship her parents can have with our son. Wait, this was
What
the
is
wife.
this?
The
Yeah.
wife was saying this the whole time?
That it's like, yeah, I mean,
Whoa, she was in on it.
what do you mean?
I think it.
Yeah, exactly. She wasn't in on it.
No, I think if she was this chill with it, she's like, oh, it's just a little water. I think she's in on it.
What is it with people? It's like,
I
who
think she's
cares?
in on
If you
it.
really think this is all made up fairy dust nonsense, then why care? That's my question. Why care? I would care if it was like, you know, they like did some sort of weird religious sacrifice ritual or something. I don't know. If I came back and my baby was covered in goat's blood, I'd be upset.
I don't know. I think in this moment, I think this is a precursor to more to them going past boundaries more and more. And I think if a parent says, I do not want this for my child, you have to respect that. Even if you don't think it's a big deal, I think if you like let's for example, like having candy.
Did
If
they
a parent
explicitly
says,
say
hey,
that
I
though?
don't-
Or like,
yeah.
did they? I
Yeah.
can't even remember 5 seconds ago. I'm sorry.
This is says it's not the actual baptism, it's the disrespect. That's what I think.
But it's like, that's just something you file away, dude.
But yeah, but
Yeah, you file it
he's
away,
filed it
and
away
you
and says I
file it
don't want
away.
these parents. Like, he didn't yell at them. He just said, I don't want these parents taking care of my kids if they're gonna disrespect me like this.
I mean,
I'm
I
not-
feel like you're just making, you're going to end up making things harder for what is essentially nothing in your eyes, which doesn't make any sense to me. Yeah, whatever. I think we're not going to agree on that.
I told her that I no longer have any trust or respect for her parents and that I don't know if there's anything they can do to repair that. I told her I don't care if that makes me an a-hole, but what her parents did was unforgivable in my eyes, and they put themselves in this position to lose privileges with our son. She's been trying to convince me to change my mind for the last month, but I'm not budging. To me, this is a hill I'm willing to fall into eternal sleep on. And there are some comments. Comment 1 says, Catholic with a controlling mother here. Wife most likely is used to picking her battles and doesn't see why this is a big deal as the child was in no danger. I'm going to second the suggestion for counseling to help her see that her parents are only the grandparents. That type of decision is supposed to belong to parents only, and her mother is trying to make it for them. She needs to understand that that's not normal and not okay. You're sitting on my phone and my knee. She needs to understand that that's not normal and not okay, and that she needs to set firm boundaries with her parents in order to have any peace moving forward. Counseling will feel like a punishment to her, like she's failing in marriage. OP needs to help her see it as a tool to help them move forward constructively. And there is another comment.
John, we're going to get back to the story, but I got to tell you, I've been loving these pearls that I got in Colombia.
You are a delicious beaded man now.
I do feel more confident at the very least, but I think these pearls pale in the amount of confidence an OK Storytime membership can get you.
That's right. You get 60 plus hours a month of exclusive live stream content. That's advice that'll make you the best version of yourself.
It's only $5 a month, so go to the link in our description, youtube.com/OKOPshow/join.
Crack open that oyster and get the blues. But let's get back to the story.
Not the a-hole. Report the priest and or parish that performed it without your consent to either the diocese or the archdiocese. The Catholic Church forbids baptism without parental permission. The baptism won't be officially recognized as a result, and if mother-in-law lied and claimed she had your permission, it will land her in hot water with the church. To your wife, letting her get away with something because she thought it was best for her grandson leads to a slippery slope. What if your mom decides it's best for your son to live with her during the week and you and your husband only see him on the weekends? Are you going to let her get away with that? It isn't her kid. She doesn't get to decide what's best. Only his parents do. Your mom stomped the no baptism boundary. If you let her get away with it, she will stomp other boundaries you set up using the argument, it's what I think is best for grandson. Next boundary could be, don't give him too much sugar. That stomp could cost you a lot of money. Young children, when they have cavities, have to be knocked out in order to get them fixed. It's not cheap. My nephew's last dental procedure, he has weak tooth enamel, cost my sister $3,000 out of pocket. Insurance picked up the rest, but it was first to get anesthesia covered.
Sorry, I just need to say that's not, I mean, maybe when they're that young, maybe, I guess.
Well, I think that the point is what they're saying is that if
never
if
mind.
they're avoiding,
Actually, I'm in the wrong ear.
Okay.
I think they're talking about babies.
Yeah,
I was not thinking about babies.
Update! There is an update. First off, I want to thank everyone who sent me supportive messages and advice. I never expected my post to get so much attention. Since many of you requested an update, here we go. Woo. Turns out some of you were right. My wife was in on it. I freaking called it.
Well, it's time to get a divorce.
I confronted her a couple days after I posted and directly asked her if she knew that her parents planned this. She broke down and confessed everything to me. Mother-in-law has been pestering her about baptizing her son nonstop, and my wife finally caved. My wife has been working from home during COVID while my job requires me to go into the office. My wife and mother-in-law started to do Zoom meetings with mother-in-law's priest to start the baptism process. They lied to the priest and told him that I was okay with baptizing our son, but didn't want to be involved.
Well, I'm pretty sure that the Bible forbids that.
There's tons of things
What was
here.
that number 4?
Just the
Thou
fact
shalt
that
not
they're
do the
lying.
fibs.
The fact that they're lying and going behind OP's back is, I think, like reason enough for this just to be like so far from okay.
I was just looking for a path to peace, all right? They refused to have it, so now it's divorce time.
It's divorce. My wife admitted that she planned it around our anniversary getaway, and that mother-in-law had somehow convinced the priest that her and father-in-law would be the only ones in attendance. My wife told me that I wasn't supposed to find out, but mother-in-law couldn't keep her mouth shut for even one day about it. Their intention was to keep this from me permanently.
I'm sorry, I have to let this joke out of my head. If you want to just undo the baptism, bring the baby to Vegas and just let it pull one handle on a slot machine, and that'll undo the baptism.
Just get its little baby hand on the
Take
slot
him to
machine.
Sin City.
He's got sin again.
One little baby, and then if he wins all the money, the casino's gonna go, that baby can't take that money. He's not old enough. Okay, sorry. I had to let that one out.
I did contact the church to let them know the truth. I talked with the priest, and he was surprisingly helpful. He said he would take the proper steps to make sure mother-in-law is no longer welcome in this church, and to reach out to the local parish to see what further steps needed to be taken. I have yet to hear back from them on that. My wife and mother-in-law are mad that I got her punted out of her church, but I don't care what they think or feel anymore. These people who I love and trust betray me, and I felt a range of emotions I didn't know existed. My wife begged for forgiveness, but the fact that she didn't come clean on her own makes me feel she would have kept this from me unless I confronted her. She's willing to do therapy, counseling, whatever it takes. I don't know if I want to put in that work. I feel like there's no coming back from this. But you know what you can come back from?
Again and again for 47 days, you can.
You can come back for, at least. Us on OK Storytime. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and watch full episodes with stories just like this. And there is a wee bit more to this tale of
bit
two churches.
I guess I'm just too nonchalant for this story, guys. I guess I'm just too nonchalant.
Wait, I'm going to finish this and then I have thoughts. I contacted a divorce lawyer and started discussing what a divorce would look like and if there was any way I add provisions to a divorce agreement that would keep my in-laws from seeing my son unsupervised. He's been very helpful, but I have not given him the go-ahead to actually file for divorce yet. I feel I am still too angry about the entire thing to think rationally and want to give myself time to fully grasp what a divorce will mean for me and my family. My wife and I aren't talking much. I pretty much go to work, come home to play with my son, go to bed, and repeat. I don't know what the future is going to bring, but I do know that without the support and help from people here, I don't think I would have the clarity I do now. And comment 1 says, I'm sorry you're going through all of this, and I'm particularly sorry the one person you should be able to trust in this mess is on the wrong side. If you don't feel like therapy with her would be productive right now, maybe consider going on your own to see if you can sort through the anger enough to figure out the path ahead. I think this is extremely telling, though. Quote, my wife and mother-in-law are mad that I got her punted out of her church. You did not get mother-in-law punted out. The priest, aka the person with more incentive to be concerned about your child's spiritual well-being than your feelings than anyone else in this situation, looked at the matter objectively and went, this is not what God wants, and our community doesn't want it either. The fact that this hasn't prompted a similar, wow, we were really out of line, weren't we? Realization from your wife is not encouraging, to say the least. And reply, I am floored by the fact that mother-in-law lied to the priest. As a Catholic myself, the thought would never even cross my mind. Mother-in-law thinks she's so holier than thou, but thinks it's okay to lie. In my opinion, she's not a Catholic, she's a bigot. And that is the end of that freaking story. Woo! Oh,
This story got just snowballed into just an absolute mess.
Yeah.
Absolute mess. You know, and I think, and again, from my perspective, right?
I've got, yeah, from your perspective.
I don't know. It's like if you were just nonchalant about this, you'd still be married to your wife and you'd still have a family and all that stuff. If you just let it roll off of you a little bit.
But there's a lot of things that
but you file it away. You don't forget. You let it roll off and you file it away. And as time goes on, and if they keep checking the same disrespect box, you go, all right, now we need to make tangible, actionable change in regards to our relationship with your parents.
My fur mom friend wants to be included in the Mother's Day lunch. She got upset.
Does she not have a real child? She just has a dog or something?
Layla and I are friends with 5 other women and have been since middle school. Everyone but us has kids. We have fur babies instead. Once our group had kids, we tried to do a Mother's Day lunch with all of us. By the way, this comes to us from Brunch with Dogs, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. It didn't really go over that well because those without kids couldn't really participate. Like, what do I know about late night feedings and diapers and first steps or going through the adoption process? So people without kids were just left out. And everyone was okay with that. It's been like this for the last 11 years, and now it's turned to their kids and husbands/partners making them brunch together, serve it up, exchange gifts, stories, and spend the day together on one big family outing. Layla got her pup last year. She is 100% the dog mom. Stickers, shirts, will gift you presents from her dog, signs cards from her dog. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and it's cute. She can go overboard, like the birthday party she threw for her pup last month and invited our group and her friends from her doggy daycare. Some of our friends left because a couple of the kids have dog allergies and she has dogs everywhere and didn't include that info. She was sad they left, so we had to explain to her that she knows some of our friends' kids have these allergies, and she didn't give a heads up. She invited people to bring her dog's friends from the doggy daycare. Eventually, she let it go. Mother's Day rolls around. She came over and was pretty upset, said she needed to vent. She said she was hurt she was left out of the Mother's Day outing because she's a dog mom, and that counts too.
No, it doesn't.
No, it's not.
The thing is, if she had come and said like, hey, I feel a bit left out because everyone's part of this Mother's Day thing.
Except
and
for
I
her.
always, and I always feel like I can never come, but I want to, even though I'm not a mother, I'd like to be there. That would have made
Right.
sense. But her argument is, I'm a mother too. I have a dog.
Like, OP's not invited to this thing too,
Yeah.
and OP's not throwing a fit,
Yeah.
at least not that she's telling us.
Mm-hmm.
I listened to her for a bit, but when she started to get actually angry with our other friends, I told her they had a point in not inviting us. We could deal with not being invited to the 1 or 2 celebrations out of the year that's for families. She asked if that means I don't think of my cats and dogs as family. I told her I do, but it's not the same. I told her that the outing is for real moms and their kids. Our friends are actually making sacrifices, giving up time, energy, and resources that we don't. I gave the example that for her pup, she got her at 11 weeks and she was already born and weaned. She had help training her at a doggy academy, free and easy adoption, and she has her in doggy daycare 5 days a week and anytime she wants to take off. And a groomer does all the bathing and trimming. I told her I'm not trying to take away from the joy being a dog mom brings her, but just trying to highlight how we aren't the same kind of moms.
Exactly.
Layla left after that, and none of us have heard from her. The only one who has talked to her works with her and says Layla has been making some comments about how she was intentionally left out and her friends don't take her serious because she doesn't have a crotch goblin.
My goodness.
Okay, OP's being left out too.
Yeah. It's like, what are you talking about?
She's not
Again, she
acknowledging
could have
OP.
made a she could have brought that up and said, hey, I would like to come. I feel like I've been left out because
Right,
you guys
yeah.
have kids. I want to join these parties. That could have been the argument. Her argument's bad.
She's taking it a little bit too personal.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like she maybe is left out of other things, or maybe she's not available to come,
Mm-hmm.
so that when there's something where she's like actively excluded, it just maybe hurts a little
Yeah.
worse. I'm starting to think I may have messed up and should have just been quiet and let her be mad for a bit. Am I the a-hole?
I don't think you've done anything here.
No.
I don't think you've done like a single thing here.
You tried to like talk sense into Layla. I
Yeah.
think. You were the voice of reason when she didn't have anyone to talk to. She came to you. Like maybe sometimes the answer is to kind of let people stew in their anger, but I don't think that OP had any malicious intent here. It was just
No.
like, hey, just look at it from their perspective. Like, I'm not going to. I have cats. I'm not butthurt about this.
Yeah, I think you tried, and she's been a little bit of a diva about it. So
Yeah.
I think that
You can't control
just
her
let
reactions.
let her figure herself out. Honestly.
There's an edit. Our mom friends do not just randomly exclude us. The first 2 years of having kids, we did celebrate together. Those of us without kids, it was more than just she and I at first. Could not talk at length about parenting and families. Going someplace after lunch had to be kid-friendly because the parents wanted to have their kids with him. We wanted to go to a bar or a day trip. Our friends with kids have always made sure to not gush about their kids all the time as a group. So as a group, we all decided, Layla included, that the Mother's Day lunch would just be for the moms and their kids so they can all do kid-friendly activities and gush about their kids all they wanted. Back then, Layla would get bored with them talking about their kids too much or spending too much time and attention on kid pics and not other topics. She still has that same attitude today. There's the second edit. Unless she is keeping the info to herself, Layla chooses to be child-free, and it's not an issue of being childless. Her marriage did end because her ex eventually changed his mind to wanting kids. She took it pretty hard when she found out he remarried and has kids now and got lemon not too long after that. There's another update. Thank you everyone for your input and insight. Some of the gals and I met with Layla this past weekend to talk with her and see if we could make a compromise and just see how she's doing. See, they care about you, Layla.
See, all you had to do is talk to them.
Yeah, it's one day a year.
It's Mother's Day.
It's one day, Mother's Day. Come on.
Yeah.
I apologized to her for my wording of real moms instead of saying moms with human kids. Okay, I think that's taking a little too far.
I don't think you need to.
You didn't need to apologize for that. That's
nice.
I think that's like giving her a little too much credit there for saying real moms with human kids or something similar. I also apologized for the examples I used and explained I felt just that if I said, remember, we agreed to this because we didn't like hearing about kids all day and doing kid-friendly things, would have been invalidating. We all told her she's an amazing dog mom to Lemon and didn't think less of her. Just that, like we originally agreed, Mother's Day would be the one day they can talk about their kids without restraint and do kid-friendly things without worrying on infringing on child-free friends. After that, I brought up the Pet Parents Day and Dog Mom Day users mentioned in my original post, and we proposed doing a celebration for her on one of those days. We even said we'd do a belated Pet Parent / Dog Mom Day celebration since we hadn't heard of them prior. I think that's a little bit like patronizing and infantilizing.
This is a little bit. I mean, I guess it's really nice of you, but it is a little bit like I don't know. It's
a
nice
little
of you.
condescending. I feel like the intention is there,
Yeah.
but it's not a fix to the scenario. I think this.
Yeah. I feel like you're
is
maybe
her feeling isolated and not knowing how to express it.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe she likes it. We'll see.
Layla asked if everyone and their kids would be there, and they said if she wants it, like the get-together for Lemon with multiple dogs, then no, because of the dog allergies. She said no to this because she feels a separate celebration isn't acknowledging her as a mom, and they don't skip the kids' parties / games, so it shouldn't be any different when Lemon has her doggy friends around. I gently reminded her that she often leaves the kids' birthday parties early or skips them entirely because she doesn't like being around kids for long. She said it's different. So we asked her how she would like to do future Mother's Day events. She wants them to go out to eat at dog-friendly places and do dog-friendly activities after so she can have Lemon and Lemon can have friends to play at the same time like kids do.
Dude, this is crazy.
We explained to her that it wouldn't be feasible due to the kids with allergies.
This is so funny because they're going in circles. They're like, the kids have allergies. And she's like, well, I just don't think it's fair because I think that Lemon should have her dog friends. And they're like, the kids have allergies. And she's like, well, I want the dogs to all come. And they're like, well, they can't happen because the kids have allergies.
And then it's like, well, what about you guys leaving during my party? Well, you leave during our thing.
Yeah.
Well, but
this
you don't
is
like
stupid.
kids.
Honestly, you guys need to stop like
Coddling her.
She doesn't need her dog mom day. I'm actually annoyed at her now. No.
Her suggestion was to just let the kids that are allergic stay home and their moms can do something with them in the evening. Our friend said leaving kids out of Mother's Day wasn't possible and that we already do monthly things together, Layla included, that the kids are left out and Layla gets to bring Lemon to most of those things.
Oh my God. Literally, they're talking to her like she's a baby.
Yeah.
They're like, Layla, we already do things together. She's like, oh, I want to just leave your kids at home. And they're like, Layla, it's Mother's Day. We can't leave our kids at home. And she's like,
the purpose.
I'm a mother to a dog.
Well,
Girl.
so, Sophia, you know what Layla and Lemon could do together? They could listen to full episodes with stories just like this. All you have to do is just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever your favorite podcast app is, and look for OK Storytime. There's one more relevant update. Do you have any other thoughts besides just annoyance with Layla right now?
I'm just annoyed at Layla. Layla is being a baby. I love my dog so much. You're being stupid. You're being stupid. You can love your dog and not be stupid. But let's finish the story off.
Layla said no. Either Lemon gets accepted everywhere all the time, Mother's Day included, or it's nothing. I then asked her if she was really doing okay, any of this had to do with her ex remarrying. She got really mad at that and left. So I'm going to guess yes. We're going to give her space for now, but some of the others aren't willing to hang out with her anymore. After she suggested leaving the kids out and comparing the kids and Lemon. I'll still try to give her support and have asked her family to keep an eye on her to see if they can talk to her. There are some comments we've got. Comment number 1. Layla seems to have a my way or no way kind of attitude. You all have apologized endlessly for her behavior. That's another thing. They don't need to apologize for something that Layla's doing.
Exactly.
You have all apologized endlessly for her behavior, tried to come to a compromise, and she still just walks out. She's unwilling to listen and kind of comes off as a bit of crazy with her demands. I might sound like an a-hole, but maybe not give her so much support.
Exactly.
It's almost enabling her. I feel like if there's not a united front, she's going to think her behavior is acceptable, and it's not. She's going through a hard time, but instead of talking out her anger with a therapist, she's taking it out on your friend group, and that's not fair to anyone. OP said, I couldn't put our entire conversation into the post, but during our conversation with her, she did say things that made it clear a lot of this new attitude was coming from her new friends from the doggy daycare.
All
That's
the doggy
another factor.
daycare people are like, oh, I'm
I
a dog
forgot
mom.
about them.
Yeah, all of your friends aren't letting you bring your dog. That's totally discrimination.
Mm-hmm. And of course they're going to take the sides of the dog.
Yeah.
They're all like all doggy daycare.
Yeah.
Parents. Those friends have family and other friends that will treat the dog just like children. Gifts, watching them, clothing, cards, taking them on trips, calling them niece, nephew, god dogs. And that's what she wants and expects from us as well. So I don't think a united front would work either. She's around others who get this kind of acceptance and encouragement. So when we say no, she's taking it as us not supporting her. Another comment. Yeah, honestly, good on those friends who don't want to hang out with her anymore. She was ridiculous in your first post, and she's ridiculous now. What are some of the good qualities she has as a friend? Because, wow, OP said, prior, she was a really good friend. Used to be the kind of person you could talk to, and she'd offer an outside box, bigger picture perspective, which is so ironic.
Yeah, that's so funny because she can't seem to
Do that
move
on
past
her
this
own.
now.
Really kind. She didn't used to be so dismissive of our friends with kids and their kids. Good humor, smart, helpful, charitable, did a lot of volunteer work, tried to cheer you up, compassionate and open-minded, appreciated their effort to minimize talking about their kids, and was happy with it. How she's acting now is not at all how she was when we were growing up, until all of this. And that
There we
is
go.
it.
Oh,
So
man, Layla, you're gonna lose all your
She's
friends
in a
if you
cult.
keep acting like this.
she's in a cult.
She
She's
is.
in
She's in
the
a doggy
dog mom
cult.
cult.
Yeah, but that is the end of that story.
My parents refuse to accept that I'm getting married. Now I resent them.
Yeah, it checks out for me.
I, 23 male, have been together with my fiance, 22 female, for almost 5 years now, engaged since January of 2023. And she's the first person I've ever had a romantic relationship with. We're planning on getting married in summer 2025, after my fiance finishes her teaching credential. By the way, this comes from user ComfortableTrash781. If you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. Background. For the entirety of our relationship, my parents have made little to no effort in getting to know my fiance. The only time she was invited to our home was when she offered to take care of me the day I got my wisdom tooth surgery. To this day, they haven't made any attempt to meet her parents, despite all the invitations they've extended to my parents. On the other hand, my fiance's parents have welcomed me with open arms. I met them 6 months into our relationship and have consistently been invited to dinners, vacations, and holidays. They even let me live with them while I finished my degree because of the toll my family dynamic was having on my mental well-being. Now, the conflict between me and my parents. Ever since I told them I was planning on proposing, they repeatedly tell me that I'm making a monumental mistake choosing to marry her. What usually comes up is how I'm too young and that I should date more people before committing to someone. They even try to gaslight me with conspiracies about why she's marrying me, saying things like, her parents might be coercing you with their wealth to marry their daughter. She's just using you to live out her fairy tale wedding. And you just give her everything she wants, and as soon as you stop, she'll leave. Every time I ask them to back up any of these things, they always respond with, you just don't see it.
You just don't understand yet. You'll see when you're older.
Also, because my parents are Catholic, they are upset that I live with and have spicy sleep with someone who I'm not married to, and that her parents are okay with it. It's almost always brought up whenever they try to deface my fiance and her family. How I'm handling this right now. What confuses me the most is that my parents have always been supportive of me. They always tell me that they love me and that they want what's best for me. Our dynamic has improved drastically since I was in college, and I enjoyed coming home to visit them. This makes me feel so conflicted because I love my parents, but I can't help but feel manipulated and betrayed by the way they talk about my fiance and her family. My fiance is my best friend, and I love her like no one else. I couldn't care less that she's the only romantic partner I've ever been with because I don't want anyone else. We respect each other, we trust each other, and we want what's best for each other. And we communicate everything with each other. Her family is no different. They treat me like family and love me like their own son. What frustrates me the most is that my fiance and her family are some of the best people I've ever known in my life. And if my parents just made an effort to meet them, they'd see how wonderful they are. At this point, I've given up trying to reason with my father on this because he doesn't even listen to what I have to say. So I've been trying to help my mother understand what my fiance means to me and what I see in her. Though she seems to listen and think about what say, she will revert back to the same mentality within a week. In the most recent conversation I had with my mother about my wedding, she told me that the thought of me marrying my fiance makes her feel rot, and that makes me sick. OP on how I feel about the future. Despite everything, I still want my parents to be part of my future. Although I resent my parents for putting me in this position, the thought of losing them over this is equally devastating to me. Nevertheless, part of me wants to quit trying and let my parents isolate themselves from my future, but my fiance and her family still want my parents to be part of our marriage and our future, despite everything my parents have said about them. As I begin planning my wedding with my fiance and her family, this eats at me every single day. Part of me feels like I haven't tried hard enough to change my parents' perspective to justify cutting them out of my future, so I keep trying. At the same time, every day I spend with my family makes me feel guilty for loving people who stay and feel such heinous things about my soon-to-be wife and in-laws. I don't know what to do. We have some relevant comments. Commenter number 1. Can't control your family. Presented them with opportunities to change their perspective and be supportive of your relationship. And time again, they show you they're unwilling or unable to change from the relationship you wish you had with them. But for your own mental health, stop trying to change them. If they come around, they will let you know. Till then, don't go out of your way to let them into your life. It sounds like your in-laws are lovely people, truly deserving of your love and time. Embrace them, lean on them, and cherish those relationships. OP says, yeah, I just have a hard time accepting that they really feel this way. I made it clear with my fiance that I wouldn't let them get in the way of our wedding and every day after that. Thank you for the kind words and advice. OP on his extended family supporting, OP says, my grandmother, my mom's side, supports me getting married. Married my grandfather, first love, at 19 and stayed married until he passed away 6 months ago. So she understands how I feel. I've been trying to visit my grandma with my fiance more frequently to help build my grandma's relationship with her. She's the closest person to my parents and the closest family to me, so I think it's a step in the right direction regardless of what comes from it. Thank you for the kind words and congratulations on your successful marriage. Commenter 2. Your parents don't love you in a healthy way. They see you as a possession and have decided that you must just stay theirs. They don't want you to marry anyone. In truth, they're pretending to love with the intention of stopping you from ever moving out. You mustn't listen to them at all. Get married, have a life, but don't expect your parents to be a part of it. If they do meet your fiance's family, you will probably be rude and or ignore them. OP says, yeah, this is an unhealthy form of love. I've told my fiance something similar, that the way my parents feel is not about her, but rather about me getting married in general. I won't let my parents anchor me. This isn't the first time I've had to go against their wishes to do what's best for me, and I won't stop now. This is just the most impactful one of my life. We have an update. Shortly after I made the original post, I decided to set a boundary with my parents. I told them that I couldn't continue to tolerate their baseless attacks on my fiance family. That until they were willing to put in some effort to change their perspective. I would be halting any and all contact with them for the sake of our own peace and happiness. Understandably, my mom was distraught to hear this from me. My dad didn't really acknowledge it. My grandma, mom's side, continued to help me reconsider the way I was handling this because my mom was having a really hard time dealing with it. After about a month of no contact, my fiance and I tried to reevaluate the situation and agreed that it would be healthy to pull back the boundary for my mom if she was willing to approach my relationship with an open mind. These were our expectations. 1. My mom had to get together with my fiance and I. 2. My fiance had to be openly invited to family events. 3. My mom had to meet my fiance's mom. Over the course of about 6 months, my mom was able to meet all of these. My mom and my fiance were getting along superbly well, beyond what I expected.
Okay.
Shocking! See what happens when you try, when you have an open mindset and not a closed mindset. My fiance was coming to family gatherings, and my extended family thought she was lovely, as I expected, because guess what? She's awesome. And we had a lunch where my mom got to meet my fiance's mom. Despite everyone being pretty nervous, that also went very well. Through all of this, despite my mom feeling a bit better about my fiance, she's been slow in coming around to the idea of me getting married. She's made a lot of progress though, so it's something we've been understanding of. The only thing left to do was get to my dad on board. I knew that would be tough from the get-go, but I was expecting my mom to help guide his perspective as she developed her own. Within 2.5 months until the wedding, I decided to visit my parents and touch base with my dad about how he's feeling in terms of my relationship and getting married. I communicated to him that even if he wasn't fully on board yet, filling the gap with trust instead of fear would be the healthiest thing for everyone, including himself, and that we wanted everyone to celebrate with us on the day we got married. He was quiet and clearly holding back anger. My mom decided to try and communicate his concerns to me, and we got into a bit of a heated discussion. I reiterated the fact that we would never truly know everything that was going on in my relationship, and that the only way for our family to stay strong was to fill the gaps with trust, not fear. When I added that I learned this from my therapist, that's when my dad snapped. He told me therapists don't care about anyone, and that the one and only therapist he went to compared him to Satan. I tried to be respectful, but he just cut me off and began going on a tirade, which is arguably worse than any conversation we had in the past about my relationship. You can probably guess how the conversation went, so I'll just lay out some of the crazy crap he said. I was a moron when I was 24, and believe me, so are you. You don't have a clue what you're doing. You two have had it easy being together during and since the vid. You didn't have enough hardship to test the relationship. You both never had options. I don't know her parents. I don't care to ever know them. As you can probably guess, I was furious. I was about to walk out, but I decided to try one last thing. I told my dad about a time I had made my brother feel bad about how he wasn't doing enough to better his life and his mental illness. I told my dad that even though I was coming from a place of love, I was hurting my brother, and that I apologized dearly to my brother when I realized this, because all I can do to help was be there for him and be optimistic for his future. Unbelievably, my dad decided to start guilt-tripping me about how I made my brother feel, and the whole message went right over his head. That moment, a light bulb went off in my head. I always knew my dad was a self-absorbed person, but I never really knew it until now. All his life, he had emotionally manipulated and scorned everyone in his life whenever they tried to confront him on something he did wrong. I was wasting my time, my emotional well-being, and harming my relationship, all for nothing. I got up, grabbed my keys, opened the door, and said, Mom, if you want to come to the wedding, come to the wedding. Dad, I hope that the next time I see you is when you're in an effing casket.
Ooh.
Whoa.
Okay.
I slammed the door with the intention of breaking it, walked out to my car, and dipped. Right after, I went to my fiance's parents' house where my fiance and her mom were drinking wine and having fun. I tried to pretend everything was all right so I didn't ruin their night, but my fiance read right through me and I broke down. I told them my dad wasn't allowed to come to the wedding anymore, and I told them everything that happened. My fiance's parents felt so horrible for me. They consoled and reassured me that I was like a son to them, and that they have always been so happy their daughter has a guy like me. Despite how awful these last few days have been, my fiance and I have never been stronger. I told her that I was putting her first and that it was time for us to look forward to this wedding and the future we're building together. I told her that I am not going to let anyone treat her like this anymore, and that we didn't need anyone's permission to choose the life we set out to build together. My therapist has been helping me to heal and grow from this in the best way possible. I am cutting ties with my dad, and I am sticking to it. Not out of hatred I felt that day, but out of the compassion and respect I have for my soon-to-be wife and soon-to-be in-laws. If he wants to make amends, then that's on him to do that, not me. And you know what's on you? Listening to full episodes with stories just like this one. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast app and search what?
Okay, story time.
Exactly. My fiance is my soulmate. We are and will continue to be happier than we've ever been by continuing to respect, love, and support each other till the very end. And we aren't going to slow up for anyone who doesn't see or want the same for us. We have some relevant comments. Commenter 1. Hey, happy to see you sticking up for yourself and your fiance. You did the right thing, even though it was hard. Sorry, your dad sucks. I can't imagine what it took to do that, but you did it, and you can be proud of that. OP says, it seems that the right thing is rarely the easy thing. The easy thing feels better today, but worse tomorrow. The right thing feels worse today, but better tomorrow. It gives me confidence that I picked a good partner when I've gone to the lengths I've never had before for anyone else in my life. Commenter number 2. Your dad sorry he married your mom? You said he's a self-absorbed person, so maybe that's all there is to it, but it struck me as a strange thing for him to say in front of his wife, no less. OP says, it's funny you ask that because on multiple separate occasions in the past, my dad has told me privately that he contemplates whether or not he made a mistake getting married to my mom, and my mom told me privately that he expressed this to her during their honeymoon.
Whoa.
That always made me feel sick. Their relationship is highly dysfunctional. I could dedicate a book to that alone. And commenter number 3, honestly, it's nice of you to care so much about your fiance and in-laws, but continue no contact with your father for yourself. He may be currently focusing his ire on them, but he sounds like a terrible person all around. I can't imagine he was ever a very good influence or role model or father with the way he behaved during that conversation. Sounds like straight up harmful, and you deserve to be protected from him just as much as your fiance and in-laws. No one deserves that treatment. But he says, like any story, there's always more under the surface. I wouldn't say he's an awful person all around, but he's a definitely broken person. He was pretty horribly treated as a child. I think that in addition to bad experiences in adult relationships, it has caused him to be highly driven by fear, and it completely clouds his judgment and thinking. Having said that, it's caused his overall influence on me to be negative, something neither I nor my partner are willing to be exposed to. And that is the end of that story.
You know, I think they put it pretty well there at the end there. It's just we are not willing to be exposed to that.
My widowed dad is hooking up with my mom's friend.
Ooh, call it a comeback story.
Oh, God.
What?
Well, keeping that, my mom became friends with a woman. We'll refer to her as Reagan. And after, she and I became close friends too as I worked with her. We've been friends for a good few years, but my partner and I and my brothers never really liked Reagan and said that she was very rude and abrupt and also extremely entitled. I did see this too, but I'm a pushover and a people pleaser, so I always let things slide until it reaches a breaking point. By the way, this comes from OK Cabinet 2908, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, my mom had cancer and sadly passed away in 2021 and was only in her 50s. My dad is not the type of person that does well on his own, and he and my mom did everything together, so I fully expected he would meet someone else at some point.
Okay, all right. So at least that's expected.
Yeah. OP's giving him kind of the license, like, hey, yep, makes sense. Especially as he was also fairly young and hopefully still had a lot more life to live. At one point, my sister said that she thought that Reagan and my dad were seeing each other, to which I said, no.
Nuh-uh.
As I knew he was seeing someone else at that time.
Dude, daddy's playing the field.
Dude, daddy chill.
Daddy chill.
Daddy chill.
What the hell is even that?
I even spoke to Reagan about this, but more along the lines of, isn't that funny? Not a free pass to go pursue my dad.
Oh boy, Reagan is looking at that free pass.
Yeah. She thought it was the go card.
Yep.
You know, proceed 2 steps
like,
to your destination.
I am going, I'm looking through that estate sale.
Oh yeah.
After mom's passing, and I just chose your dad.
And we're closing on it.
Yeah.
We're closing. So, fast forward to my wedding. My mom passed away 7 months before our wedding, so it was still extremely fresh, and of course, her absence was very much felt. Reagan had already done a couple of entitled things at that point. One being that she had asked if she could bring her kid to our no kids wedding. I, of course, said no, and she still insisted, but I held firm and said it's only immediate family, i.e. nieces, nephews, and our own child.
Okay.
She told me, well, in that case, you have to help find childcare for her kid. Whoa, that's crazy. Otherwise, she can't go. I did give her another firm no, as I was already busy working full-time, caring for a 1-year-old and planning a wedding. She did find childcare, and she did end up coming.
Okay, well, at least that, but I don't know. I feel like I don't even want Reagan coming at this point.
Yeah, I'm not like,
please, Reagan, be in my life. Screw my dad.
Oh, God.
He needs a relief.
Golly.
Raise at least one thing from the dead.
Whoop. Everyone grieves differently.
I grieve different.
I didn't see anything during the day. I was busy having fun at my own wedding with my husband. Makes sense. But in the morning, when we came down to breakfast, Reagan was also there. This surprised me, and she proceeded to say how she booked last minute to stay at the venue itself. I found it quite odd, especially as we'd booked all rooms for family, but I didn't think too much more of it. Put an ICU in the comments.
Oh, I see you.
You see the use?
I'm seeing the use.
You see the use? You see the use?
They shacking.
Mm-hmm.
They shacking.
In the same room. No need to book one. A couple of months later, when we met up, she told me that her and my dad had been seeing each other. Like, hey, I'm looking at Riley right now. I see Riley.
Seeing Riley.
Or is it like, I'm seeing Riley?
I think he's. Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
God.
There it is. Shake that thing.
The creaking noises were too much. Now, I was quite taken aback and asked since when, and she told me that they had hooked up at my wedding.
Let's go.
What a classy move.
Nothing makes someone hornier than love.
Then your kids love.
Dude.
Yep, then your kids love. God. I love watching my daughter get married so much. I need to get in the room right now.
No. Apparently, she pursued him there, but the only reason she did it was because I'd apparently put the idea into her head when I had told her what my sister said about thinking they were seeing each other already, again, which was a joke.
The funniest jokes have a little bit of truth to them.
Oh, unfortunately, they do.
There is a joke inside every joke.
Oh, God, and there's more
things inside than just a joke.
Oh.
I will say, she is closer to my dad's age rather than mine, but I found it very strange nonetheless. I said, okay, well, I guess I'm happy for you both, but just to be clear, this is my dad, not just a random boyfriend of yours, so you absolutely cannot talk to me about any of your relationship stuff. She agreed, but still trampled all over that boundary many times regardless. Reagan not feeling like the best friend / stepmom ever.
Oh, no, not
Dude,
friend / stepmom.
When the friend becomes the stepmom.
Stepmom friend.
That's not good. It's not Uncle Dad.
It's no Uncle Dad.
It's no Uncle Dad, but hey, it's also not
the best.
It's not
not the best.
No.
I had to repeatedly tell her to stop over the following months. Another piece of crucial information is that she is a single mother of a young son under 8 years old, new brother.
Let's go.
Who is adopted and referred to as Alan. Alan is on the autism spectrum. Some more crucial info. Now,
his name? Wait, did you just put in Alan?
I put in Alan.
His name is A.
His name is A.
I hope it's not. Yeah. Okay.
Let's call him autistic.
Yeah, I feel like
Audi.
they were. I feel like they were all. I'd be like, is A for autistic,
dude?
Like you got to choose a different letter.
Hey, this was OP's choice, not mine.
Yeah.
We're
right.
in the bed
OP.
that OP made, and
okay,
there's nothing we could
for
do.
simplicity's sake, we'll just call him Audi.
That is crazy.
After several months, my dad confided in me that he had met someone. He told me a little bit about her. She was actually only a few years older than me. Which I found weird at first, but now we've got to know her and she's really lovely. It was very awkward for me though, as I knew from Reagan's perspective, they were still together. Wait a second. Are we understanding right that him and Reagan started seeing each other potentially casually? And now, because remember, she was like, oh, Reagan is actually pretty close in age to my dad. And now dad is coming back to OP and is like, hey, OP, I'm actually seeing someone. She's like, oh, she's kind of close to your age. It seems like this is not Reagan.
Daddy is playing the field.
Daddy's doing might be doing a little too much.
Doing the Lord's work.
Daddy's going crazy in these streets.
Yeah, dude.
Crazy in these streets and maybe these sheets.
I think so.
It seems likely. My dad asked me not to say anything to Reagan. There it is. That sounds like confirmation to me.
Daddy's got a roster.
Golly. He's feeding him pasta and lobster. I was never going to get involved, but I didn't like being in the middle of it this way, and it was exactly what I didn't want to happen. In the end, my dad ended up ending things with Reagan, but still remained friends with her, and Reagan somehow became a fixture in her eyes, definitely in our family. Oh,
Reagan's trying to plant her flag or right in the middle.
Dude, she is not trying to leave. Not trying to leave. She would invite herself to family events and bring Alan. She organized a party for Alan at my parents' house, etc. I didn't quite understand why, but we're going to get to that shortly. Stay locked in. A few months later, my dad announces he and the new girlfriend are engaged.
And daddy was seeing new girlfriend at the same time as Reagan.
There was some crossover.
And were they official?
He did end things with Reagan, but there was also crossover.
Yes, but I think there was crossover, and was it more serious when there was crossover?
Ooh, like this new girlfriend? No,
it could be they were like dating, and then he's like, "Oh no, I want to marry, so I'm gonna break it off." But it was kind of like a little sus.
super sus.
Daddy's getting drain.com. Drainyourdaddy.com. We own that.
We might have to buy stop draining the daddy.com.
Stop draining your daddy.
We got to stop. This daddy is drained enough. His tank is empty.
Dry.
It is bone dry.
He is shooting blanks.
Oh God.
It's just baby powder dust. Just
at this point. Now, Reagan messaged me about the engagement, and rather than ask how I felt about him being engaged so soon after my mom passed, she went on about how she felt and details I didn't want to know about her and my dad's relationship. I will say, throughout all this, she never really mentioned my mom, despite them being friends, and we all met her through her in the first place.
Dude, all right, I see you, Reagan and Dad, doing it while the mom was still alive, or as the mom was passing away, because Reagan's like, "Oh, I'm here for you, my friend," and Dad's like, "I'm here for you, my wife," and they're like, "Oh, we're both here for her. Like, we have so much in common."
What do they always say? Common times when people cheat: pregnancy, hospital.
Pregnancy and hospital.
Pregnancy and hospital.
Yep, we got one. We got half of the situation.
Just saying.
And Reagan's.
Golly. Yeah, listen, and if there's one thing we know about Reagan is she knew what to do.
Oh yeah.
Okay. She was an expert in some things. Okay.
That she is. Also, she's a clown. The Ronald. I was making a Ronald Reagan, Ronald McDonald thing. Yeah, I didn't quite have it figured out.
It was close. It was close.
It was close.
Almost executed.
Almost executed. You guys saw it. I don't need to complete it. You guys saw the vision.
We see it. We see the vision.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I ain't seen nothing.
Fast forward to Dad's wedding. Reagan came and brought Alan with her. Kids were invited to this wedding. Alan has very volatile and challenging behavior. He has done some pretty awful things, like punting an 18-month-old girl in the back on a slide hard with both feet. He was 7, and has been pretty awful to my own kid too. He is a child on the spectrum, so just to throw that out there, OP. But I digress. Now I feel terrible for insisting we still see them for so long, but I've learned never to do that again. Reagan always turns a blind eye or even tells the other parents off. That's where it's like, if Reagan is not stepping in and trying to help with it, that's the big
like
one.
you got to do something. Like put that kid in a bubble or something, you know?
The Samuel Donner parenting method.
I mean, hey, if my kid is constantly like hitting other kids, but I want my kid to socialize, bubble.
That is one way.
Bubble.
That is one way.
You can go and play, and then like
maybe all the kids are in bubbles, and it's like a bubble pit.
A bubble pit.
That would be fun. That would be fun. That would be a good time. But to give you guys an example, she wouldn't do anything when Alan punted the little girl. I jumped up, apologized, and removed Alan from the situation. And Reagan then said, "Well, she clearly was too young to be on that slide, so what did the parent expect?" Not it, Reagan.
Dude.
At my dad's wedding, Alan was absolutely rampant. All the guests and the catering staff knew who Alan was by the end. He was running and attacking all the young children, throwing things at the adults, running through the catering tent and grabbing crockery and throwing it at / trying to grab the deep fat fryer, etc.
I think this is like, you know, there's as we're seeing in the chat, Josephine's like, "Hey, this is above autism." I feel like this is not just autism. I mean, I think it's a little bit of parental.
She's not correcting.
She is doing nothing. This is bad behavior. You know, we do want to, like, you know, give grace for people with special needs. But also, I feel like this is a parenting issue,
and especially like the deep fat fryer. Like, I think with the wedding is like, you just got to keep him home, socialize him at the park with other things, but like not the we don't need him at the wedding.
We don't need him at the wedding, and if he is at the wedding, bubble.
Bubble. I even watched as this 8-year-old boy ripped apart a solid wooden bench with his own hands.
Man needs to be in some kind of sport.
Listen, super lifter here. The next, you remember the world's strongest kid?
One of these kids,
parade him around?
He ripped apart a bench?
Yes.
My goodness. This guy's the Hulk.
Let's put him in something.
Powerlifting, boxing.
Put his superpowers to use. Bubble soccer. Oh, man. It was a lot. So the whole time, Reagan made sure she was always at the opposite end of the venue, away from Alan, and seemed to quite deliberately ignore and allow Alan to wreak havoc. It came to a crux when Alan picked up a wooden chair and hit our child, then threw
John Cena! And coming in to the ring is Alan.
Chair. Chair.
He may have autism. That has nothing to do with what a powerhouse he is in this ring. Chair.
Bro, if you hit an adult with a wooden chair, that is bad. A 3-year-old? A toddler?
That's a lot. That's a lot.
Ooh.
But maybe that toddler shouldn't have stepped in the ring.
Oh, God, that's what Reagan is about to
Yeah,
say.
dude.
Like, what did a baby expect going to a wedding? Our kid ran to us crying, and my husband went to him. He said something to Alan, and then he ran off. I went over to speak to Reagan about Alan hurting our son, and instead of being receptive, she abruptly asked if I saw it. I said no, but I've seen Alan attacking all of the other kids, etc. Dude.
This kid is a menace.
Dude. She asked Alan, and he said, yes, I hit him.
Sorry. This is unacceptable. But damn. Man is truthful.
Bro is keeping it a whole $150.
He's keeping it 100%.
Wow. But that it was an accident.
Come on, man.
Reagan said, see, it was an accident. So there you go. What I'm more concerned about is that your husband is threatening my child. Reagan needs to be out of the family. I'm sorry. We need Reagan out right now.
Dude.
She has done nothing since the mom passed, but just like make things terrible.
Yeah, she is causing a ruckus. We don't need this, but you know what? I need more of Alan.
Dude, we need more Alan.
You know, I think we just need to channel this rage into something where he can be successful, because he's got that brutal honesty.
Yep.
There's something there. And then he's got just brutal chair hitting.
Mm-hmm.
This is
WWE superstar.
I really think he could be the next John Cena.
WWE superstar.
Yeah, I think we got something here. Reagan just needs to be like, you know how they have those dance moms? Reagan needs to be a WWE mom.
Yes.
And get this kid into something where he can just blossom like the WWE star we know he can be.
Yeah, hit 6'5" muscled up men with chairs.
Yeah, exactly.
Not toddlers.
Yep.
That seems like a better recipe for
That
success.
is my one and only motto.
One and only
That's the
motto.
one and only motto I live by. Don't hit toddlers with chairs.
There we go. So I said to all this that I didn't know about that, but I'll speak to him. But I still think that Alan should apologize. She flat out refused and instead wouldn't let go about my husband. Which, listen, she's been holding on to a lot of the men in OP's life, so I'd be worried about that.
She has.
Let go, girl. It turned out that all he had said was, how would you like it if I hit you? So not a threat whatsoever. Just kidding.
How would you
Of course
like
it is.
it if I hit you?
How would you like it?
To a minor?
How would you like it if I hit you? That's an
Bobby
interesting
Bott.
one.
Who is Alan? Bobby Bott. Who is Alan?
Let us know.
Is Bobby Bott working? I don't even believe Bobby Bott works.
Where is he?
Bobby Bott. Who is Alan?
He's never appeared.
hiding.
He's hiding.
He is not into the chat.
Nope.
I avoided Reagan for the rest of the event, and she was rude and condescending to all the parents and even the catering staff, asking her to keep an eye on Alan as he was endangering their kids, them, and himself. She even stuck her hand up in the head caterer's face and walked off. Talk to the hand, buddy.
Dang.
She latched onto my sister, however, who later said that Reagan went on and on about how she was wronged by our dad, and he clearly overlapped them, and it's such an injustice to her. Because again, he was seeing, the new young wife now at the same time as he was Reagan in the beginning. We don't know how much communication was going on there. Not once did she mention our mom or how we might be feeling. She did later come to me, but acted like nothing was wrong. I told her I was really upset with how the situation was handled with our son being really physically hurt, and instead she just yelled at me that I have no idea how hard it is to be a single mom to an autistic child. Just pausing real quick right here. I think we need to break it down a little bit, fam.
Break it down.
What actionable steps should we do with Reagan at this point in time, do you think, with all that we've seen?
I think some low contact is in order for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the dad isn't seeing her actively anymore.
No.
Like OP doesn't like her. Who
Yeah.
likes her in the family?
Nobody. She started like latching onto and like getting around the sister, and the sister's like, she's just.
I don't want this.
She's just yapping about everything she's been yapping about.
I think what we gotta do. I think we gotta put a little distance.
Yes.
I think we gotta tell Reagan, hey, we want a little distance. I think we tell everyone else, hey, I'm trying to have distance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we gotta put a nice, clean, and delicious barrier between us and Reagan's ridiculousness. It sounds like she's more of a parasitic barnacle on the bottom of your boat, just latched on for dear life. And you just got to scrape those barnacles off.
We need to get a freaking a shovel and hop in the scuba gear and just go thunk, thunk, thunk,
thunk, thunk. Yeah.
All those barnacles have been bunked off.
Yeah, get those barnacles off.
So Opie says, look, I get it. I'm not in the situation of being a single mom with an autistic child, but there was also another autistic child at the wedding, and he was being looked after and monitored by his mother.
See, autism is not an excuse, as Josephine said.
There you go.
Yep.
By the way, you know what else is not an excuse?
Tell me, John.
The fact that you haven't looked up our podcast yet, because we have full episodes with stories just like this. All you have to do is search OK Storytime on Spotify, Apple, or the iHeart Podcast app. Is that a reasonable excuse, Sam?
To not watch it? There's no reasonable excuse to not watch it.
Zero.
Because literally you could search OK Storytime wherever you get your podcast. So freaking do it.
It's easy.
It's easy. Unless you're a silly goose.
Are ya?
Are ya?
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah, dude, that's you right now.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do it. I don't want to search OK Storytime.
Stop it.
Stop it.
So anyway, we all cut her off after that. And I told my dad to stop inviting her to family things, as we all have had a bad time as she routinely dumps Alan onto us and he is violent to our kids, etc., etc. My dad seemed hesitant, and I later found out that he had loaned Reagan a significant amount of money.
Why?
Why are we
you
doing this? For what?
Reagan doesn't need anything
Or
except a bubble to put her
let's
boy
put
in.
Reagan in a bubble.
Well,
That's
but
what
Reagan needs a bubble.
Yes, dude.
Her and her son should be in a bubble together.
But Opie says, I initially thought it was a few grand, which would be bad enough, but then it turned out to be $40,000. And he has not seen a penny back, and I doubt he ever will. $40,000 for the side piece.
Who's out here? Okay, really quick. I feel
10 grand I'd pay.
I feel that if you're lending a friend or family member money, you should just expect it to go away. I feel you should just expect it to go away.
Yep.
Oh my God. 40K is crazy. I hope they just expect it to go away, because that is a whack-a-dude.
Whack! So it's quite clear that she pursued my dad. She knew my mom was very wealthy, as my mom was a client of hers, and quite frankly, financially mistreated a vulnerable widower and tried to sabotage his wedding. It took me a long time to see how awful all of his behavior was, but sometimes when you're in it, you can't see the woods or the trees.
Oh my
And
goodness.
that's it.
That's it.
That's
Reagan
all we got.
Sucks.
Dude, Reagan is the worst.
Is a little poopy head.
Wow.
Dude, I don't want to use that language, but I'm gonna say it.
Whoa, that's I don't know, Sam. You're
big old poopy head.
Wow, that's
big old, I
the old
stand on
PH?
this, 10 toes down.
Wow.
Standing on this poop.
Waffle
and that
stomping.
head. Waffle stomping into the shower drain.
Wow.
Really quick. You're seeing some girl, sliding cheeks on the side. You're not going to loan $40,000, but are you going to loan $40K to the mother of your estranged child?
Mm-hmm. A fair baby.
Dang it, he was adopted. Dang it. I think that is the end of this episode.
Yes, sir.
So if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you.
And see you tomorrow.